Hello and welcome to the Unofficial Controller Podcast, your weekly gaming podcast. Episode number. Now, I've lost count. I'm well out of fingers at this point, but I'd say episode number 267. With me, George, in this week, joined by RGT. Pope to my dope. I don't know.
Anywho, how are you?
Well, rumour has it, you either burnt some damp leaves on your log burner this week, or you're the new Pope.
No, it was damp leaves, but yeah.
Rome's not reacting like it was damp leaves.
Well, I don't know if they'd want me as Pope.
Why not?
I just don't think I'd be very good. I struggle enough to do a games podcast, let alone be Pope.
I heard that one of the requirements for the papacy was a failed podcast.
Really? Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm getting the feeling you might have just made that up. Oh, it's just in England, but I think you might be lying.
God himself laid it down as one of the requirements.
Did he? Okay.
Knowing that one day it would come into effect.
Well, maybe this is the day.
And also the rather complicated plumbing to take your chimney all the way down underground, across under the North Sea, into France, up through the Alps, down, back down into Italy and into Rome, and then up. And I'm not talking just a little bit, I'm talking up right up through the middle of Vatican City.
Wow. This is... If you're new to the show, this is a gaming podcast. Don't be put off. Yeah. Note to self, don't record too early in the morning.
So you're all right then, mate?
Yes, I'm very good. Yeah, I'm very good.
You brought me out of what can only be described as a trance-like state.
I would probably say you're still in this trance-like state, but I'm not sure.
I'm sort of... Forgive me, listeners, I've got a little bit of frog in my throat. Probably an ayahuasca toad.
My God.
RGT, what have you been playing?
Well, thanks for asking.
We're a gaming podcast, so we better talk about video games quite quick.
Obviously, Xeno, 80 hours in there, and I'll be honest, I've hit a bit of a brick wall.
80 hours in. Some would say better games would have been finished by now. How's you feeling about this? You say that your enthusiasm is waning.
Well, I think
let me just paint you the image of a man from 2 weeks ago. All right, yeah. Well, again, I don't know why I've gone.
Yeah, you make me cockney every time you do this.
Yeah, it's all I can do. It's the only accent I can do.
Yeah. All right, George. Yeah, how you doing? Good, Brad. Yeah. Anyway, I was playing Xeno.
Yeah, all fired up. Yeah, I've got my skill license now, fella. Boo, 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 boo. You do say fella. Boo, boo, boo.
I don't know if I go boom, boom, boom. I'm not.
Pow, 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 pow. I love it, mate. Yeah. Oh, every time I wake up in the morning, there I am, getting my skill on, ripping up there, getting a coffee, telling some barista she don't know how to make coffee, getting her sacked, being took on a tribunal, learning that it's all okay down here in the New Jack City or wherever we live. Then I've got another mission, got to go out, kill a couple of mutant rats out in the field, maybe collect up some coffee beans and some brew cream, bring it back because this is how we make New Earth. And you were living that dream. You were literally counting the molecules in the brew cream rat to make sure it had the holding consistency you needed it to. You even went to an employment tribunal to save some young woman's job, even though she tried to make you a coffee out of what can only be described in this industry and attitude era as rat shit. Now,
you finished or
Why have you soured on it so quick?
No, no, I wouldn't say
Well,
soured.
I say quick and I say soured. Why have you gone lukewarm after 80 hours? Was it just the length and girth of this title, or is there a little bit more to it?
Right, as I was trying to explain. No, I think we've been quite busy behind the scenes, haven't we, the last couple of weeks? So I haven't put so
Yeah.
much time in on it. And
No.
I played again the other day, and I played for about an hour, and just thought, I want to play something else. I think the
Ooh.
gap has kicked me off a bit. I will carry on. I want to see the end game. I must get back into it. But yeah, I just thought I just played it for about an hour and thought, oh, I think the break has not done me any good. I will carry on because
It's
it has
dangerous,
been a
that.
brilliant
It's
game.
dangerous.
Yeah. But I don't want to leave it on 80 hours. I mean, I'm what, chapter 9 out of 12. I need to get it done.
That that would be one of the most heinous gaming crimes you'd ever committed. To
But
give
also,
literally the life cycle of a moth to this game for nothing.
and I think also, I know that the next chapter I need to be like level 38. I'm level 34, which to then get to level 38, I'm going to need another 5 or 6 hours minimum of
Mm.
side missions to up stat myself to get ready for that next. So I know that's going to be, I don't know if that's put me off or because I know I've got another 30, 40 hours in it. I don't know. But
No, 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 no,
yeah,
no, no,
that's
no,
well
no,
over
no,
100
no.
hours. That's well over 100 hours, the game.
The only thing that's making this slightly less egregious than Harvestella is you not talking about it as much.
Mm. Yeah, I suppose so. Yeah, I mean,
Is that
similar.
because the experience in Harvestella were more diverse, or is it just that?
No, I think I'll tell you what. I think you hit the nail right on the head there. I think that is absolutely bang on. I think Harvestella, you had that bit of farm and you did have a fantastic story in Harvestella. To be fair, the story was superb. I did enjoy that, and you wanted to find out. You're desperate to find out the next bit of the story. Whereas this, as you've described, it is more like a single player MMO. It's
Yeah,
more rinse and repeat.
I've got to give you a hell of a lot of respect though to fight through and talk so highly of what is basically a single player powered MMO
Mm,
with that kind of gameplay loop.
mm.
The screams of a man with a pain threshold never recorded before. I think this is a bloody good effort from you.
I
Because is
think
it an MMO? Is it faceless? The kind of recycled go here, do this in the in because you've got the game field as I want to describe it, where you go and beat these animals and try and sort of make New Earth habitable.
mm,
And then you've got the what I would call the sort of story exposition quest finding area, which is back up on the spaceship or whatever it is, where you firing the barista and taking photocopies of other people's licenses or whatever else as you do up there on your scale. Is the drive down on the on the planet, the new Earth, appealing? I know you've talked about the sort of scale of the battle arena, for want of a better word. Is
mm.
that still something that wows? Do you find like these cool little moments, or is it just an endless textured green field that you're walking through?
Oh no, and like I say, you're constantly on the planet. You're not in space. Your spaceship is crash landed, and the basic
Not in my
story.
save, it's not. I,
Uh,
quickly deployed the landing gear at the right moment, did a 1080 flip, and landed it.
well, you got like the city in this sort of hold, which is in like a circle sort of hold, and um, it's clever how they've done it. It had like this gel that cushioned it where it landed, so you got all these big gel spikes that are like solid now around the ship. You're on this planet. You've got all different areas to explore. Basically, everything you do is linked up to you trying to find the life hold to keep the city going because time's
That's
running
it.
out. You need
Life
a life
hold.
hold. You need to find a life
I'm
hold. It's very diverse. The graphics are good for the system. The different areas are very different from deserts to snow to one area is quite
can I
sort of
just pause you for a
trippy.
minute?
Yeah.
What I love about this is how you've gone from a man who's getting a little bit. Now, I did want to prompt this reaction from you. A man who's getting a little bit worn out by Xenogears to a man that sounds like he works for the Xenogears tourist board. Now, if that's
Yeah,
That's
no,
not a
you.
t-shirt idea. I don't know what is. Now, through this revisiting in your own mind of this planet, this talk, does that get you a little bit more sort of fired up to have another go? Or
Yeah, a little bit, I suppose. I mean, when you break the game down, I think where I struggle is when you break the game down, I think there's 12 chapter missions.
Hmm.
Literally just 12 missions, which so far have not been that long. And the rest of it is you building up to get enough grade to get that chapter mission done.
Yeah.
But where I think they win me over is because what I've enjoyed is I love that sort of re-inhabiting a new planet. I love that idea of humans trying to, create a new world, and you have to go out and you're all fighting for the same thing. And
Yeah.
but it's also silly little missions in there within the city itself in New LA where you'll meet people and talk to them, and they're so mundane, they're real, and they feel like, well, you would have to do that, And that's where they sort of grab me because you do feel like you're all fighting to, get this life hold. You've got a bit of an interruption from these aliens that are trying to wipe humans out, so you end up having fights with those, plus the animals which live on this new planet. Um, so there is that, but there is that. I think I'm getting to the stage now where I think, oh, before, if I was say level 20 and it said your next mission's level 26, I think, oh, it's only 6 grades. I'll do that when I'd plumb through. Now I know how long it takes to get 6 grades. I think coming back to it, I've sort of having that break and then coming back to it, I've sort of gone, oh, but I need to power through. I need to keep playing because it
So
is
you
a good
chapter
game.
9 out of 12, you say?
Yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
close. Don't forget that video game chapters tend to get very short. It's almost like my sort of English stories as a kid. They
Mm,
start strong, and as time sort of clicks by, chapters suddenly become maybe a word or three.
mm. Yeah, but then
Uh,
on the silly thing is, I don't know if this is. I've never been an MMO player, so I don't know. You may know more than me. I don't know if this is a trope of the games. The actual game itself, the actual story, is very thin. We're landed, find a life, hold, survive. That is the story.
well,
But
I mean, you're right. And to be fair, the only MMO, and I wouldn't even call it an MMO really, but the only sort of MMO I've ever really poured any time into would be something like Fantasy Star Online. And
mm,
that shows you my sort of legacy, my attention to the platform, to the gaming genre.
mm,
But yeah, basically, there's very thin story, very thin section holding you in what I would call the ready up area, which is your
mm,
shit, where you've got no other players to interact with, so they kind of had to give you a story.
mm. Yeah,
And
and
then it's
but
all about propelling you down to the game field to basically grind.
yeah, but the silly thing is with this game, the story is that thin. There's only 12 chapters. If you could do them chapters one after the other without having to stat up, you'd probably have it done in 3 hours. Do you know what I mean? But the silly thing is the depth of how much the game goes, other than story, is just ridiculous. With your probes, your mining, your upgrades, your crew, how you can upgrade those, your gear, what your gear looks like. It's nearly endless. All the stuff you can do is so in
Do
depth
you
for actually such a thin story sort of game.
do you think if this had been an MMO, you'd have had nothing to do with it? Or alternatively, if this had been an MMO and you tried it, and for that instance, you're going to have to imagine finding like-minded, well, not even like-minded, just other people that are playing it online and forming that relation, going on these missions together. Could you see yourself playing an MMO? Ideally, if this one was, or alternatively, would that have killed this experience for you?
Um, to be honest, I mean, there is a multiplayer side to this. I've never tried. I don't know what it's like. I think if you could play, because you have four of you in your crew, if you could have four of you, online together playing this game, I think it would be, if you might be able to do that in multiplayer. Like I say, I haven't tried it. I think it would be fantastic. It's built for that. That'd be brilliant going off doing these missions together. Um,
I think that's the key
which
that
I think keeps
unlocks
you
this
more
game.
invested. Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah.
So, but like I say, I'll battle on. I'll probably, give it a few more days break, and then try and get stuck back into it again. Once I think I'll get the next mission done, that'll probably spark me off to get the game done. Then, But as I've hardly turned my PS5 on for a few weeks now, I thought I need to play something. I kept looking through the
Who
store.
are you? Who are you?
Yeah, I've changed.
You have literally.
So I was looking through the store. Do you know I had the old Netflix syndrome again? I was flicking through. Oh, I don't really want. Oh, I can't really bother to play that. Oh, I can't. So in the end, I saw a game there, and I thought, do you know what? I've got this as well on PS4. Um, but I've had a bit of a resurgence for first-person shooters, and I thought,
Oh,
do you know?
hello.
I thought, I've been playing the Halos. Well, I know BioShock isn't really first-person shooter, but first-person games. I thought I'm going to give this one a little go, and as of recording, I downloaded it and played 2 or 3 hours yesterday, and that is Killzone Shadowfall. So I'm in like the third chapter of that. To be fair, I think for a PS4 game, it looks good.
There's no denying Shadowfall looks great.
Yeah.
And there's no denying that Shadowfall stands on the shoulders of giants in terms of the trilogy that went before it.
Mm.
I found with my experience of Shadowfall though was it was the most faceless of FPSs I'd ever really experienced.
Yeah. Well, I've never played the original three Killzones, so this is my
Hmm.
first experience of Killzone.
Probably a good place to start accessibility wise.
Yeah, it's I've enjoyed it so far. Is it a Halo? No, it's no Halo. Halo has that
No.
more dramatic story that wants to link you in and to fight, for the
Even the
human race.
gameplay is more frenetic.
Yes, yes,
Master
exactly.
Chief has got way more bounce and pop to him than the Killzone characters.
Yeah, and also, yeah, definitely, and also, I found so far that it seems to be a case of you go to an area, you might have to clear a few people out, do a few
Hmm.
missions, then a wave come in, you stop that wave, do another mission, then a wave come in, you stop that wave, then you do and you sort of there's a pattern there. But it's I've quite enjoyed it so far. I mean, I don't know how long a game it is. Um, I wouldn't have
No, I
thought.
don't actually know how long it is. I don't think it's an overly long game. I don't think you'd want a game like that to overstay its welcome, if I'm honest with you.
No, but
Um,
it's yeah, it's a good. I'd just say it's a good game. I wouldn't say it's up there
it's technically proficient at what it does, but it's not going to win you any Game of the Year prizes, that's for sure.
No, I think if you're a seasoned FPS player and you come to that, you're going to go, yeah, it's it's a first person shooter game.
It's
Looks very
lukewarm.
pretty, but it's okay.
That's
So
one
but
thing you can say about it, RGT, graphically. It's
yeah, I was
still.
impressed with that. I was impressed with how that looked. To be fair, when you think that came out before the Switch was even released,
Oh, it's
and it
Decima
looks
Engine, I believe.
yeah,
So
it is a pretty game. I know the PS5 is probably specking it up a little bit, but yeah, it looks good. I quite like the world it's in. But yeah, like I
yeah.
say, I'll play it. It's a side distraction, I think. I've also you probably saw in the Discord. I've only just done the first half hour, and I was looking for something different to play of old Knights of the Old Republic on Switch.
Yeah, I saw that. I popped on the Discord, rare event for me. If anyone DMs me, I will be there immediately, like a Thundercat seeing the eyes of Thundera in the sky. But occasionally I pop up only because I can play console games because you put the disc in the machine, you press go. Anything else is beyond me, including Discord. I think I've been posting mainly in conversations with myself in a DM with myself for the last 2 years.
I think so as
Uh,
well. Yeah,
I thought it was Ginge, but obviously not.
that made me
So,
laugh. How you fell out with yourself, so you had that big argument with yourself, and you didn't speak to yourself for a while. So
well, it's one of the reasons why I sort of don't go on the Discord because every time I go on there, I'm on there. So
yeah,
annoying.
yeah, he
Uh,
don't leave you alone, does he?
and it's it's a private place for the listeners to get together, not for me to sort of stand over it like some sort of overpowered deity. Anyway, before this is for you, it's not for my ego. Uh, yes. Um, I've totally lost where I was going to go.
Knights of the Old Republic,
Yes.
which
So I popped on the Discord. Yeah, there you go. Rant, gone in a massive loop. Come back round to the beginning again. What am I here for? Knights of the Old Republic. Yeah, no problems. And I popped on the screenshot and clips and saw you were playing it. Now, obviously, we know the shed's in disarray. My first thought was, hang on, is he playing this on OG Xbox? And then after a little bit of a chat, transpired he playing it on Switch. Now, I've played it on Switch a lot and do think it's quite a good port, but
Mm,
man, alive.
mm.
As you can tell, that game, not looks wise, well, kind of looks wise, but you can tell that game comes from a previous era of gaming now.
Yeah, I mean the graphics I like because it is the original graphics, but they're just raised up, so they look quite
I was
nice.
going to say to
You
you,
almost
they
get
have raised them up.
you get that sort of almost like an indie feel to it, whereas like
Mm.
they've tried to make a an older game. But yeah, the controls are interesting. Um,
Yes.
yeah, I think once I get used to it a bit more and stop just flailing around with these sort
Yeah.
of half sort of turn-based, half real-time sort of combat. In a way, it sounds like a real boiled-down basic version of the Xenoblade combat. It's very similar to that, whereas almost like an auto combat, but you push forward with different instructions while it's similar to that sort of thing, but a real boiled-down version of it. But other than that, I think watching the opening scene, doing my character bits and pieces, the aesthetics I really enjoy. I mean, I didn't finish this game, but did play it on the OG Xbox a few years ago.
Mm.
Um, and yeah, I think it looks good. They've kept the essence of the game there, I think. So yeah, I'll carry on playing, I think, because I just fancied something spacey,
Well,
Star
you
Warsy.
you
So
chose you chose a good time to get on board because since its launch, I do believe that elements of one and definitely the vast majority of KOTOR 2 is completely broken on Switch. So,
really,
and I think about, as luck would have it for you, about maybe a month or two ago, out of nowhere, it got a patch,
right? Oh, good.
literally to allow you to finish the second
Oh,
game, I think.
jeez. Well, you
Yeah.
say that brings me on to my next game. Then you say about broken. Um, there's a game I had in my what I said to people before. A little tip: always put games you want to play on your wish list on your Switch. And when they come on sale, I'll ping you an email saying that game's now on sale. You can download it. Well, I've done that with a game called Escape from Mistwood Manor. I like me lot of puzzle games, me sort of detective games, bits and pieces. So this one dropped down to I think it's on sale as of recording at the moment, about £11, I think. So I thought, well, I'm going to give
This
that
is
a
on
go.
PlayStation.
No, Switch on the Switch
Okay.
store.
Yeah.
Um, so downloaded that on the Switch. I knew a bit about the game, so it's something I'm quite interested in. It's not really a story. Basically, you just start off as a delivery man. You go to deliver a package, you get locked in the manor, and then you have to escape each room as you go through by solving the puzzles, different bits. Really good
Mm.
puzzles, really good fun. But done the first room, the entrance hall lobby area, done that, worked the puzzles out, really good. Not too hard, but some are a bit tricky. There's certain ones who Morse code with a lamp, and you had to click it a certain amount of times to open the door, and all these sort of puzzles, really good.
Yeah.
And
Nice.
then I went through to like a lot of study room. Then I went through to the wine cellar. And then I got to the wine cellar storage room. Anyway, and there was a code on there. There's a code or message written on a wall in like blood, but they'd highlighted certain,
Menstrual or sort of arterial?
I would say arterial,
Hmm.
and they'd highlighted certain words on there. So it basically said use pictures 4 and 7. So there was pictures on either side, like Polaroids either side of this little podium. And then on 4, that'd show 2 items on the podium, and on 7, that show 3 items on the podium. And you had to put all these items on the podium. So I'd done it perfectly on the podium, and the little drawer didn't open. And I thought, oh, maybe I have to put them in a certain order. So I put them on a certain order on the podium. Little drawer didn't open. So I googled it, and I found that someone on the Steam had the same problem. Um, you can put them on there, and the game was just broken. Where you just so I'm just literally stuck. I can't get that key out. I've done all the actual, I've done the actual task correctly, but I'm just stuck in this storage room at the moment, which is rather disappointing because I was really enjoying the game, and now I can't go any further. Absolutely wedged. Are you all right there, George?
So
Oh dear. Come on, son. Get it together. Deep breaths. Come on, fella.
what is the code?
What is the code?
Yeah.
What do you mean, what is the code?
What's the code to the door?
There's no code to the door.
I thought you had to sort out all the pictures.
No. There was
Just get a
a
password.
there was a message on the wall that said use pictures 4 and 7. I used
Yeah.
pictures 4 and 7, and they show you what items needed to go where on the podium, which I've
Yeah.
done, but it
Yeah.
won't unlock to give me the key. So I
I'd
googled
argue
it.
you've not done it right.
No, yeah, I have actually done it right. But it's a glitch in the game. They had a problem with it on Steam where it just bricks. It won't give you the key. It's not initiating the, it's not recognising you've done
Oh,
the. And
RGP.
I was enjoying the game so much. I just got to this area where I'm just stuck. I can't go any further, so I don't know whether to restart or try it. And I thought, oh, please don't do this. So I'll probably give it another go and see if I can get any further. But actually,
Oh,
up till then, the game was superb. I really enjoyed it. But if you're listening, devs, get it fixed. But yeah, it's really.
specifically the Switch version.
I think it no, I think it done it on Steam as well. I think
Uh,
it's a problem with it on
but
Steam, but
your version is the Switch version.
Switch version, yeah. But anyway, it's if you like them sort of puzzle games, it is really good. It's got some really good puzzles in there, really different. Each room's very different of what you got to do. Up till then, yeah, really good.
Mm.
And then basically, Evercade, um, Indie Heroes 4. I've been playing mostly Nightmare, Ninth King, which is almost like Castlevania. Um, really similar to Castlevania. Plays really well. Lovely little game. And also been playing a game called Block Poppin', which is just another little puzzle game that you know jump on every now and then. Really good. Really well done.
Is that like a
Um,
Tetris variation, or is it something else?
Almost, yeah. That's like I suppose like a sort of 8-bit block version of like Bubble Bobble or something like that.
Oh,
Is it
right,
Bubble
cool.
Bobble? No. What's the one where you shoot the bubbles out and then pop them runs in the colour? Is that Bubble Bobble? I can't
Yeah, I thought
remember.
it was.
Yeah,
Oh, I'll
like
tell you
that
what's.
basically. But it's
Yeah,
quite addictive.
yeah.
It's quite addictive. Had a lot of an arcade mode. You have to try and get high scores in a certain time, and yeah, really good, really well done. And finally, my best mate bought the new Atari 7800 Plus. They've done the new like HD version. Um, that was his
Can it play
birthday. So
carts, or is it inbuilt
yes,
emulation? Yeah,
It can
nice.
play 2600, 7800 carts, and plus people are releasing new games for the system as well, which you can buy on
Oh
Amazon.
God.
Yeah, but I tell you what, some of the best game and fun I've had in a long time. It's a good little bit of kit. It's a mini version of the 7800, but they've got
Hmm.
all the metal strip. It looks very similar, a lot smaller than my original one.
So
Um,
that's the aesthetic they've gone down, the 7800 one.
yeah,
Can you
and
get it in classic like 2600 Woody form as well, and it
I
still
believe
play
so.
both?
Yes, I believe so. You can, yeah, I believe so. You can. Don't quote me on it. I know they do the 2600 one. Whether it plays, I would imagine that'll play the 7800 carts because
It's got to.
it's just dumping the
It's
ROMs. It's just modern emulation,
yeah,
is all it is.
yeah.
But it's even got the original little control pads with the little screw-in things, but they're wireless. So you got wireless ones now rather than wired. But it's got the original 9 pins on, so you can plug original controllers in if you want to use them. Um, and we went to Norwich Video Game Market a couple of weeks ago, and he picked up some 2600 games he's been wanting from his childhood. He got Jungle Hunt and skateboarding, and we were playing those. That was so much fun, sitting down having a beer, playing those with the family. It's such plug and play games, very basic, but so much fun. And then I got him I saw on Amazon they had a 2600 4-in-1 cart with the two twisty dial controllers, the
Oh,
buttons on the
yeah,
side.
yeah, yeah.
And yeah, and I got in that, and I still in the aesthetic of the original box and artwork. And that had like breakout and bits and pieces on there like that, so I
Yeah,
got in
that's
that as
cool.
well. But I mean, I think that Atari 7800 Plus is like it's about 90 pound, I think, $90. And I think that's a bit of kit for that. Nice packaging, really well done, plays well, looks good on your TV, HDMI out. Then you've got the versatility of playing original cartridges. You've got the versatility of using original controllers if you want, but you've got wireless ones with it. It's real.
It's weird that you talk of this
Mm,
because last night, instead of going to bed, I chose to stay up and watch this. It was already late, but this was a straw that broke the camel's back. This guy, I will post on the Discord if anyone's even mildly interested in this. But I stumbled across a guy who'd made a video reviewing recently as well, an AliExpress find he'd found of a basically a Mark One Mega Drive. Now, yes, it's full of clone parts and bits and bobs inside, but it outputs to HDMI.
mm,
It looks great,
mm,
and it'll play original carts and EverDrive, and has over 400 original Mega Drive games built in, and equidistant amount of NES games built in, and although he didn't know what it was, I'm hazarding a guess. There was a region switch on the back as well to allow you to 60 hertz up your other games and to bare knuckle your
mm.
Streets of Rage. Now, it was about £45 delivered, and I
Yeah,
couldn't fault it.
the emulation was good and not
It
choppy
looked
or screen
it,
tearing or anything. Or...
it looked really solid,
That's impressive. That's impressive. That's amazing what bits of kits are out there, really.
and it
Um,
came with two wireless controllers,
well, yeah, the thing that,
plus the ability, like that Atari, to plug in the OG if you wanted to.
yeah, and that's the thing as well. I mean, well, I've had it for years now, but I got a Retron 5 back in the day, um, which I still got, which is handy to use if, it plays 12 different systems HD on your telly. That's a good bit of kit. But obviously, I've got original hardware as well. But as time goes on and I'm getting things recapped, getting things fixed,
Mm,
and years ago, you'd get things like At Games would do these Mega Drives, and they were just pap. They were rubbish. The emulation wasn't very good. The sound was poor. They were just cheap knockoffs with the Sega license. But now the things they're producing, these Ataris and that, they're good. They know what it's about. They know that people have nostalgia for them, so they make them right. But you
mm.
have the ease, you have the quality of life things added in with the wireless controllers, but still they are the original controllers. They're literally just wireless. They've took the patterns and just literally remade them.
Yeah.
And you can play your original cartridges on, and that, my Atari 7800 needs a bit of work done to it again now, and you start to think, do I get that done, or do I just buy one of these? You know?
Well, that was my. I was looking at this and thinking to myself, do you know what? You could have that plugged into the telly in the main, the main lounge.
Yeah, yeah, exactly,
You
yeah.
could bring the odd game down, a little bit of Sonic 2, Streets of Rage, HDMI. You've made it easy. Heck, you don't even need to get the cart out. I mean, this is sacrilege in a way because it's already built into it.
Mm,
Now,
mm.
obviously, this thing fell short in some ways. You're not going to be able to stick a 32X in it. You're not going to be able to plug a Mega CD on it. But one wonders with emulation and an EverDrive cart whether you would need to. Maybe you could just pop it on the EverDrive, play
If
it
you
through
got
the
an EverDrive,
cartridge slot.
yeah, you'd be okay with that. You can stick the 32X's ROMs on there and the Mega CD, Sega CD, etc. on there if you wanted to.
Wow.
Yeah, this the kits. I don't know whether that was because a few years ago, I mean, a Retron was. I found a way to go. A lot of people didn't like it because it dumped ROMs. It
Mm.
wasn't FPGA. It was more just a ROM dump. But it was such an efficient way of playing, with so many options for scan lines, so many options for saving with an SD card, so many options to download. I mean, you could. I done it on Mega Drive. Went on my computer with my SD card, and I downloaded every Sega Mega Drive cheat on an SD card and just popped it in the back. So then when you go to play any Sega Mega Drive game, it comes up, do you want cheats enabled? You just get a list of every cheat for that game. And it's just done it, done. It's just things like that. You just think, oh wow, this is impressive. And at the time, I think my Retron 5 was 120 pound. Um, but now, when you're getting these systems like this, I mean, you could have an HD TV with an Atari, a Mega Drive, these things set up, ready to play,
Yeah,
on your, like you say, on your TV. If you're an EverDrive user, you can dump ROMs on there. You got a library straight away there. Do you know what I mean? It's just that ease
yeah.
of, you don't need a CRT. You don't need to keep these old machines running, which is sad because I love keeping the old machines running. But it does make you think.
Well, I
You know,
also happened to stumble across a video of a guy who refurbishes, who was refurbished. He wasn't a console refurbisher, he was just a general refurbisher. And I
yeah,
noticed when he was doing a Mega Drive and did a, he's no raw talent custom console
yeah.
sprayer, that's for sure. It had an orange peel on it, like your nan's backside, and it he went for the zoom in moment. I was like, you shouldn't have done that, mate. You shouldn't have done that. But the thing that noted that I brought this, why I bring it to the table, is he took the lid off what looked like a tired Mega Drive, but not one that was obscene. Sort of thing you'd find out there in the wild. He took the lid off and the RF shield, the metal lid that goes over the internals of the Mega Drive,
Yeah.
completely corroded.
Mm.
Now these things, when you stripped them apart back in the day, that was chrome,
Yeah.
and this thing is just like a tarnishment. And I thought to myself, we're at that cut off.
Yeah. I mean, I had my Mega Drive 1, and I've got a Mega Drive 1 and Mega CD 1 and Mega Drive 2 and Mega CD 2. I had them both recapped. Or when I put the Mega Drive 1 in for recapping first, and I had a leaky cap on there, you wouldn't have known it played. You wouldn't even notice that. But he said you were weeks away from that, and then just completely going through the board and ruining it. Yeah, it'd have been unfixable. It was just by luck that I timed it and got it done. You know, I've got a good guy who does it. I think I paid like 60 odd pound for caps and recapping for the
Yeah,
Mega Drive and the Mega CD, which, I mean, the Mega CD has
mate,
loads. I mean, it was like
I lost
90
a
odd
Mega
caps.
CD to that. I lost a
Yeah.
Mega CD to that.
There's like 90 odd caps. And then you start thinking, especially for the Mega Drive side, you're spending, it's probably more than that now. You're looking probably 80, 90 pound to get it recapped. Or do you buy one of these modern ones just with the board in? I know it's not original, I know. But on the other hand, when I had mine recapped, the colours and everything popped so much more when it had been done. You don't realise, because it's a slow deterioration of the machine. You don't notice at the time that it's slowly deteriorating the graphics that are put on screen. So after I had it recapped, it was like a brand new system, looked brilliant. But I've got 30 odd systems. If you start recapping everything, start doing things, and for my new shed build, it's made me start to think a bit different about how I do things going forward, I think. But we'll see. But anyway, yeah, that's Atari 7800 plus. Great fun with that. If you're into your old Atari games, definitely, and you want to get back into it, definitely look at that. You can get them on Amazon. They're superb. So yeah, brilliant.
I I
But that's
think I think, as I said before, we're on this cut-off between saving old systems and also people that actually give enough of a damn. You and I, and people that we talk to in our little bubble, we are from the era where we had nostalgia for the hardware and a nostalgia for keeping it going, almost in like a toy collector way.
mm,
And obviously, if you're new to the hobby, you're a young kid, you're slightly interested in the history of gaming, getting hold of a physical copy of Sonic 2, even in 2025, is quite easy. And because of the amount of games Sonic 2 that were made, it's actually very affordable.
mm,
So you could get yourself an artifact from the era and then spend £45 on AliExpress and get yourself what looks and feels like a Mega Drive. So you can then, I mean, fair play to them, because you'd also get it for whatever latest console you've got. I'm sure you could find, if you look hard enough on the store, you'll find a copy of Sonic 2. So
yeah,
it's that tough one, but I think we're on that. I think the original hardware right now of that era is probably going to start to be on the wane.
yeah, and I think also, even from um, how you played them. I mean, I've got quite a few original CRTs. Now, I'm lucky the same guy that does my recap and is a trained CRT engineer, so he can fix. He's done two on my TVs. But if it weren't for him, I wouldn't. People aren't trained in CRTs anymore. Where do you take your
No.
CRT to be repaired? And they're not like something you can post. You need someone local that you can take this CRT to. Where do you
Was
go?
that a guttural roar while you were speaking?
It was an excited little burble in my throat.
I thought it was, and I was going to gloss over it. And then I thought, I'm not professional enough to do that. I need to
No,
find out if that was some sort of biological, I don't know, glitch, or whether
no,
it was.
no. It was just an excited little burble. So I said CRT. And so I went, um, but yeah, like I say, and it's getting tougher and tougher to get these repaired, which again has got me thinking from a new shed. I'm really thinking of going down the OSSC route and getting these for a. I know it's not the same on a flat screen, but having just one CRT, one flat screen, and putting everything through the two, space
Let me put
saving.
it to you like this: would you take two bottles into the shower, or would you just wash and go?
Years ago I'd have took two, but now definitely just wash and go.
Let that form the future of your gaming habits.
Yeah, yeah. So, but yeah, we'll see on that one. Watch your space. But yeah, that's all what I have played. Sorry, that was a bit of a ramble. But what about you, then, George?
Okay, this week I've been on the go. Been out pushing the show. Basically got me a restraining order, and
Not
yeah,
again.
yeah.
That's the third one. My God,
I
you
think
do go a bit
my choice.
OTT.
Listen, I look at it this way: when you're promoting the show, stalking an individual until they download and listen to the show is good. I just picked the wrong individual to start on.
If you give up on the
Uh,
cable ties now, or
I'll be honest with you. I do feel like that's a pivotal part of the decision making process for someone to join the UCP community.
what cable ties? Hmm.
Cable ties, sackcloth, couple of gallons of water, job done.
Hmm.
It just takes time, you know.
Yeah. Yes. It's quite a time-consuming way of getting listeners to
Yeah,
torture them.
yeah, and it's one at a time at a basis of like maybe one every 3 months.
Mm. Yeah. You have to
But
put a lot of work into it.
but when you break them like that, they're basically yours for life.
I'm more worried about how comfortable and relaxed you are about talking like this. It's just
We're
second
in the
nature.
attitude era. I think
Yeah.
it's time we reveal the back end of the show and show people the true spectrum of what listening to, because people bounce in, they bounce off. It's not a weekly podcast for me. Actually, you don't get a choice. We know where you live, and we're coming for you.
Wow. Yeah. That's. I was thinking
And
in
do
the
you know
attitude
what?
era, we
And do you
we
know?
need a new way.
And do you know what? After all that, you get a fridge magnet. You know what's wrong with these people?
Yeah. Fridge magnet and a bit of chafing.
I never said that. No, what from the cable ties?
Yes. I don't know what you thought I meant, but
No, I was going to say you're such a.
anyway, what you been playing, then, George?
Yeah, I was going to say in the trucking industry, I think you'd be known as an auto lube. What have I been playing? Probably, yeah, it's true. Probably because I've been away promoting the show in between sort of spates of mini torture. I have been playing some F1 Manager on Switch. Yeah, I slated it some time ago, but when it's your only go-to, it's amazing how quickly you can overlook technical concerns.
That's so true as well. That is so true. If it's the only thing you got to play, you just blink at them eyes, blur it up, and just get on with it. This looks great.
I can now blink at the alternative refresh pattern to the Switch's
So it
screen.
looks 4K.
Yeah, I see nothing at all other than like, well, basically, I complained that um, Carlos Sainz looked like Simon Weston. Actually, now he's looking a little bit more Carlos.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, so I'm happy with that. I've decided to. I was going down the route of managing Ferrari, challenging in itself, but not enough. So I'm now playing through as a startup team. Give you some good options for that, or do you want to be automotive, big wig from the golden era coming back? Do you want to be a startup team? Do you want to have So it gave you a few story quirks where you could, look into a technical innovation that everyone else is going to have to play catch up with while you kind of defend your starting position through the year, a bit like Brawn, as an example. And I thought to myself, yeah, it's pretty cool. I think I need to maybe come up with a better livery. I called this Bugatti Quest, obviously after the Immortal Terry blow. And if you haven't heard the pilot to the flashback show that we've launched, which is our standalone retro show. We've got more news about that once you've finishing digesting the pilot. We're going to assess the feedback, make the changes. But yeah, I talked about playing F1 Grand Prix. So I decided on the Switch I would go down the colours of the Marshall Cavendish Quest part work, which are blue and yellow. And I produced a car with those flat blues and yellows. It ended up looking like something that was from F1 Grand Prix, Jeff Crammond on the Atari ST, not even the Amiga. It was it looked. Oh my god! Now it even pains me when I'm playing it to see my team, and it's oh god, boys.
What's wrong with it then? What, just
You
plain or
could have,
bland or?
yeah. I think because of the colours that I chose, when you first create your livery, it's like a gradiated colour scheme from front to back, and I thought that looks pretty good, but it's not what I want. So I started mucking around with it. Probably didn't put enough time and effort in ultimately, but good God, they look terrible. But
Hmm.
that doesn't stop me from enjoying it. I got a now we're fighting for 17th, 18th on the grid. There's nothing showbiz here, or obviously a start-up team. But one of the perks it gave me was Daniel Ricciardo, who's not currently signed, was signable and signed to my team. I thought, oh, that's a good start.
Good
Then
sign in
let me
that.
pick another one, and I kind of went and did a rummage around and came out with Alex Albon. Now that obviously
Mm.
changed the foundation of some other teams, but I thought this is going to give me a fair shout. And I actually thought Alex Albon was the number one driver, so I thought, oh, we'll build the team around him. Well, that lasted about two races because Daniel Ricciardo, although they're the same driver rating, for whatever reason, they are identical on the stats. You couldn't pick them apart. You or I would go through them. What's your like top trumps? What's your overtaking? 89. So is mine. What's your sort of straight line speed? Oh, mine's 89. What's yours? 89. So match for match. But what I love about Grand Prix Manager is either in your own mind or through the spirit of the game being like this, is you kind of because I said I think it was at Monaco, we started off on a one stop with Daniel, and I didn't think it was going to pay out. Then halfway through the race, I thought, hang on a minute, if they pit now, worst case scenario, we're in the top 10 at Monaco. This is big time. Daniel, go for it. And he went. And considering we're 17th, 18th on the grid, there's Daniel Ricciardo. And I thought, oh, this is going to end badly because sometimes when you turn to really gun it, they burn through a set of tyres in 5 laps and then they kind of fall off the bubble and you can't do anything. You've got to pit him again. I thought, oh no, don't do this to me now. We've sniffed it. We've tasted the top 10. This could be something. Go for it, Daniel. And he drops a hammer and he's coming round. He's overtaking people. I'm thinking, oh, this is not going well. Like, where's all this pace come from? Why is no one else, trying? There he is. Alex Albon's falling further and further back, and Daniel's up there in the top 10 pushing. Well, late race safety car. Hold it together, block your position. Daniel got a podium.
No. God, you
Third
got
at
me really,
Monaco.
you got me on the edge of my seat. I'm loving this. This is brilliant.
Maybe the whole show should just be my gaming stories. But
Yeah, steady.
anyway, I'm thinking, right, bring in the cold water, pouring on his ego. Simmer down, boy. No one comes here for you. You're just here as a foil to our GT. So, I know my role. And sign the checks and be his foil.
Yep.
Absolutely. It's a charity, really. Um, and then had some medium successes. And, it's quite rewarding. I'm now in that situation where I really should develop next year's car. But because I've had seen some glimmers of success, I'm now torn because it's like, oh, we're never going to win the championship. We know we're not, driver nor constructor. Do we have a go now? Because I feel like some races are on the bubble of being good enough to be on the top 10. And I do believe it's the drivers, because when I do the engineering analysis on the car, it clearly states 17th or 18th on the grid is your sort of technical high for this car. That's you maxed out. So, yeah, it's an interesting game. You have to manage your sponsors and how much time you give them and how much that takes away from your team's preparation on race day, and whether that's going to affect the driver's mentality on the grid if he's got to show a load of people round and demonstrate how the car works. It takes him out of that moment. Same for the engineering team. They're giving sort of pit wall analysis of what's happening in the race, or that has a detrimental effect on their ability to actually be good strategists, etc.
So is a Switch version a lot stripped down from like the bigger boys version?
No, the only strip down that I can find is literally the graphics.
It's a bit similar to what EAFC done. Then it's literally 30 frames and graphically, but other than that, it's just a whole game in there.
If you're playing EAFC with character models like the ones I'm playing with on Switch, no.
Now, the actual character models aren't too bad on the Switch. They're okay.
I think I beat down on, I said, Carlos Sainz looks like Simon Weston. No, maybe not that bad. But he looks like Gordon Brittas in a Ferrari outfit. There's something there's something not right about a leisure centre manager popping up on the podium for Williams. There's something.
Has he got the unmanageable part on as well? Or?
Oh, just the face. I don't know. If you're patient enough, if you've got half hour and you let the textures pop in, you could almost sort of half convince yourself on a paused screen that you're playing something quite tasty.
Next time, do a screenshot on your Switch and send it to me. I want to have a look at this.
I snapped so many screenshots when I was in third because I thought, well, this is a career high point for me. I'm not going to finish here, so I at least want to be able to pin this on Mum's fridge. She could tell me what a big boy I've been. What else have I been playing? Now, listen, I've been playing a little bit of Oblivion. I've got to say, the Shadow Drop got me excited. I saw the trailer. I thought, oh wow, been a long time. Been a long time. I want to experience this straight away. Obviously, you don't need me to tell you it's been a graphical uplift. There has been, without a shadow of a doubt. It looks great. And you've got a good remaster in the fact that you think, oh, it's just I remember it. Hang on. How can it be? Let me see some footage of the OG. Oh my God.
Yeah, in your mind, rose tinted spectacles, you remember the game in that way. When you go back and play it, you think, this is how it looked to me back in the day.
Yes.
But it's not that now.
They've nailed on that this is how it looked back in the day.
Just on PS5? Sorry, you're playing on PS5?
Yeah, for clarity, playing it on the Pro.
Okay, yeah.
But I should think marginal differences, really. But, graphically impressive. That feeling of Oblivion, without doubt. Same game underneath, the same bones, the same DNA that we fell in love with. My only sort of slight gripe with it, if anything, is I've probably had a little fiddle with Oblivion just for curiosity's sake or for the show. I've probably slapped it in and had a look at it, from an archaeological point of view. But not really played it since its debut on 360. But it's the same Oblivion underneath, and I knew what the people were going to say. I knew what they were going to ask me to do. I kind of knew the routes that I'd been down before. All of a sudden, it started to become a very, 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 very familiar game again. And I had some nostalgia because me and OG Tom, we used to laugh because I think in my original save of OG Xbox Oblivion, you go and speak to Prior Mabelevilan or whatever his name is, and he gives you his horse to do the journey on. So your horse is constantly referred to as Prime Abel, as me and Tom shortened it to. And I had some nostalgia when I saw Prime Abel in the stable, ready to go, all saddled up and ready to experience life in Tamriel. But it was on my sort of trek to Kvatch that I thought to myself, I've done all this. I've done all this. And although it was a generous price at 50 quid, I've done all this. So I'm going to have to just let you know over the next few weeks how I get on with that. I keep turning it on and going to play it, and I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. Let me advance my save on Farming Simulator. And
And
if
I
you
think
know,
also, I think at the moment, sorry to interrupt, we are absolutely hammered with remasters at the minute.
I
And
don't think we're
after a
just hammered with
while,
remasters. We are, I think we've all complained that we haven't got any games. And to that point, RGT, we're now drowning in brand new games and remasters, and there isn't anywhere to look. My backlog is toxic as hell right now. I hate it.
mm, yeah, and it's just you get these remasters. It's nice going back, but you get to a certain point where you're playing and just think, why am I playing this again? I know it looks pretty, but why am I playing this all again?
Mm.
That's just like I want something new. I know what's going to happen. I need something to
Yeah.
experience that's new.
And to that reason, I've been tempted to go and hoover up that. Now, what I should have done, if I was a true hero, is I should have swerved Oblivion and picked up that Claire Obscura Expedition 33.
It's getting good
That
reviews.
that looks so good. Can you
Mm,
believe a team of like 20 to 30, possibly at peak for a very short period, more like 100, built the game that looks that good, has
mm,
reviewed that well, has a story that started off as just a bit of an idea. A voice actor was signed up to record some bits of free on Reddit,
yeah,
ended up becoming the story's lead writer over time, and we now have Claire Expedition 33 in front of us.
yeah,
And you got to think to yourself, I thought we couldn't make games like this anymore. I
yeah.
thought we needed these massive teams. I thought production values are through the roof. This game looks, in my opinion, as good, if not better, than games that have had 8 times as many people working on them.
Yeah,
I,
it's
you could argue, right, that this is slightly obscured by its JRPG turn-based mechanics.
mm,
Those games have always been able to be more beautiful, going
mm,
all the way back to the SNES, the Mega Drive, and before. But this thing dances what I can only call this thing's coming. Let's put it this way: Final Fantasy 16's up on the stage doing the patter cake. Its mum and dad are in the audience in tears clapping. Claire Obscura comes on performing the blooming Nutcracker waltz, up and down, doing all the ballet. Unbelievable.
mm,
So I'm as a side note, as I make my backlog even more toxic, I'm thinking about jumping on that pretty quickly.
mm,
In
yeah,
the meantime, I've been playing a lot of Farming Simulator.
mm,
I get home and all I want to do is put Farming Simulator on, go on Apple Music, find myself a nice little playlist, and listen to that while I let my workers know, mate, because this is how weird I am. I don't want to plough the field myself. No. I want to set an AI on
mm.
and watch it plough.
Wow.
And that is, mate, that is what I'll do. Now, if that's gaming, I'm a gamer. If that's not gaming, I don't know what I am anymore.
Mm. I can
On a
see
side,
you're doing the simulator role, I suppose. You're hiring and you're the farm manager and you're watching
I
him
look at
and
you, and every now and then, I have to step in and be like, no, 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 mate. Not, the
come here,
AI
fella.
has
Come here, fella. Let's have a
exactly.
little word.
You go back to check how that field's doing, and the AI's managed to park a combine in a tree.
Yeah.
And I don't just mean you driven into the side of it. I mean you come back and it's upside down, nestled in the tree like a nest. You're like,
Yeah.
oh,
What's happened there, fella?
I would love an action replay. You come back, it's like, how did this even happen? I would
Yeah.
love to know. Then you can
Yeah.
rewind time and find, because what did I dropped? I was in the. I've bought some woodland in my save, Carmson Farm. If anyone wants to download it, you can work the map that I'm working, and it is as an English map. It's probably one of the best. And I bought some woodland. So detailed in the wood, the way the trees have fallen, the way the paths are cut through, the way the fire
No
breaks are in the
way.
wood to stop the transmission of fire within a plantation. It's so good. So good. Anyway, I I bought some just some light tree harvesting equipment for pulling in some extra bank when things are a bit tough. And I got a log grab from a front loader. I know that this me talking about Farming Simulator is killing the fans, but it's what I've been playing. So fast forward to the next bit. If this is killing you, because I've got to get this off my chest. I had actually managed to knock my timber grab attachment over. I didn't realise this when I've been working in the wood. Anyway, I came back with my tractor, nosed up to the front timber loader, and it came up X to connect. Perfect to press. Well, because it was upside down, initially my whole tractor flipped upside down to mate with the grab. But then the game must have realised that's crazy. I tell you what we're going to do. I tell you how we're going to solve this. We're literally going to launch George's tractor, probably a clear 100 miles up in the air. Boom.
What?
It just went.
What? And you're still in it?
Oh, yeah. I love how it connects. It kind of connected to the front loader, and it's like, well, that ain't right. You could see you could see the logic of the FS25 go like, no, that ain't right. Flipped it. Oh, there needs to be some serious repercussions for that. Boom!
Boom. Did it crash after that? Or?
I just landed down on its cabin and flipped on its wheels, and I carried on as if nothing had happened. Classic
Oh
Farming
my God.
Simulator. Really, you know what? It's quite fun. As a side note, and I know I've bored everybody, I'm not going to do it too much more. But very quickly, obviously, after saying I wouldn't do it, if he looks you in the eye and tells you he ain't doing it, he'd swear on his life in that moment he ain't doing it. But knowing George the way we know George, if he says he ain't buying MLB 25, damn sure as shit he's buying it. He's buying it. And yeah, here I am, waltzing in. I'm doing my usual yearly struggle with the face scan app of like, is that what I look like? Hideous, delete it. Must have been bad lighting. Do it again. Do it again. I've got the David Bailey in here on the floor with lights, the whole bag of tricks. I've got makeup.
Trying to scan a photo of yourself when you were 20.
Do it. No, it's worse than that because I'm obviously in my 40s. Do the scan. Right. So, and I did it at night time as well. So I didn't realise, but I had a shadow cast from a great big beak down the side of my face from the way I was stood. Anyway, load up my face scan. I think, oh yeah, that's half acceptable. Turn the character around. Oh my God, looks like he's got a birthmark. It's not good enough. Delete, re-download the face scan. Do it again. That's better. God damn me beak. You know, I didn't realise I had such a big beak, but it casts such a shadow across my face. It's to literally put half of my grid into what can only be described as a solar and lunar eclipse. And I don't know how to light myself without cutting half my face off. It's like a
I'll give you your due. I mean, you're committed to make sure you get your character with the correct look. I mean, I'm already thinking, oh, I couldn't be doing with that. But
Do you know the worst part
you've got a
is
lighting rig in, you've got Rachel holding up a lamp trying to light you in the correct way.
dude,
You use moisturizer, you've had a
you
shave.
never quite knew how close to reality you got in your piss
You
take
did
because you
not
said
have
you had
Rachel
Rachel in
holding.
here with a lamp on a chair trying to get the
No,
right angle.
you did not.
Shut the F up, dude. This is important to me. MLB's life, road to the show, and I feel like I've made a mistake because you know in baseball, the Hollywood image of baseball is a guy just hitting a home run. And this is what
Uh-huh.
annoys me with MLB a bit. I thought, you know, for a bit to keep Rachel happy, I'll go as a pitcher and a hitter, one of those split players like Otani, who does pitching like Babe Ruth and can also smack the hell out of the ball. Brilliant. I thought I'll go in as one of these because then in between pitching, quite often, you know, if you're good enough, they'll let you bat as well. Makes it exciting for the kind of people with an attention span of an ant with his back leg on fire in a bowl of sugar. he, no, I don't know. I don't know. Anyway,
I'm writing that one down.
yeah, because you know, as an ant with his leg on fire in a bowl of sugar, very much myself. I have no idea where I'm going with this anymore, so I'm going to freewheel a moment while I reposition my brain. Um, MLB. Don't forget that in the road to the show now, you start off as a school kid. What do you think?
Oh no.
What do you think a school kid looks like with a 45-year-old man's head on its body that's also got quite thick stubble?
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
look, to be fair, dude, I look like I need a tag because
You know, so
it,
you've been
it
put
ain't
back a few years.
put back a few years. Jesus, wet. My MLB character makes bloody Gary Glitter look innocent. Uh, it is unbelievable. Why can't I get a different starting option? Why now is this MLB saying to me you should only play video games if you're 18? Or is it saying you're too old to like baseball? I mean, what's it telling me?
Maybe don't put too much thought into designing your character.
Why give me face scan app? It forced me to start in high school.
Hmm. Maybe don't use the face scan app then. Just start as a character.
And there's a guy here getting lessons in life from his high school baseball coach. And to be honest, if you pause the screen, you'd think he was the pupil and I was the teacher.
You'd think the game is thinking something's not right here. That's almost a farming simulator moment. It's going to blast you up in the air 100 meters. Something's not right here.
Oh, and to go back to that farming simulator, you know you got problems in farming simulator, and I've seen it a little bit in GTA 4 as well. When your whole vehicle or whatever it is you're trying to interface with suddenly starts shaking, and then
Yeah.
the shaking gets tighter and it turns into like a vibration, almost like a hum. When you've got a vehicle charged like that in Farming Simulator, you know you just
Something's bad is going to happen.
something is going to kick off in a minute. Probably going to be blasted to suborbit. Yeah,
In
this
a
is the bare
John Deere.
minimum. Yeah, this is the bare minimum of what I can hope to get away with here. Feeling like Yuri Gagarin. Oh, good God. I'm trying to, I'm just trying to plow the backfield, dude. There's no need to, like, farming simulator world. It must be so dangerous to be a farmer. Not just because of
Yeah,
all the flailing implements, because just finding yourself in space in an
yeah.
unoxygenated capsule, just watching the air get sucked down your lungs. Then forever committed to fly around in space like a bad lollipop, just literally frozen in your cab of this antique vintage tractor I've decided I couldn't live without. It's
So
absolutely
there's now
awful.
a Tesla Roadster in space and a tractor, both orbiting the Earth.
Farming Simulator 25's got a more successful space race going on than NASA, SpaceX, and Amazon combined, I tell you. Um, and I would say, RGT, that now abruptly brings me to the end of what I've been playing.
Mm. We had a good few games between us there.
Oh, and bizarrely, a very unscratchable itch because I've got to go away and waterboard someone for the show again. To
Hmm.
play, there was a time when I was playing this, uh, maybe during season two when Bobby was on, or maybe earlier, maybe during your era, I can't remember. But I've got this strange urge to, and I have this for games, and I don't know whether it's me picking up on different seasons or moments when I played the games back in the day or what, but I've got this really strong urge to dig out, and I can't because I'm going away and it's on PS2. A really strong urge to dig out Lord of the Rings, The Third Age, or whatever, that PS2 EA turn based JRPG version of Lord of
Yeah,
the Rings.
yeah. That was a bit of a muddled up time for Lord of the Rings, wasn't it? Because there was the book games, but also the film games, weren't there? So they were a
And then
bit,
the spin-off games.
yeah. So it's all a bit confusing as to what was what or what you would like to
But this
actually
is
play.
cool
But
because it kind of runs in. You are a group of adventurers that are running simultaneously through the adventures within the book, but at distance. You're in the mines of Moria when Pippin messes around with that skeleton and it falls through falls backwards through the
uh-huh,
well.
yeah.
You're in the room where it hits the ground,
Ah, okay. Oh, that sounds quite cool. That
dude.
sounds like.
It's it is so good.
And the
And I
thing
know
is,
you
it's
only listen to the ones that you're on,
oh god, without a doubt,
but if you went back and listened to,
yeah, it ain't happening.
you want another listener? You can't waterboard me. You're gonna have to put me on the show. Oh God.
Yeah, that's literally how it went.
Now, do you want to do the news now, or do you want to do a little thingy thong together? What would you like to do?
We'll do a little thingy thong, shall we?
The thong, the thong, thong, thong. Getting in and out. Oh, can you believe there was a song called the Thong Song?
Mm, yeah, that was in my height of thong wearing as well.
Uh,
Yeah, maybe a bit of an overshare there. I didn't.
I
Yeah,
just know that your wipage down the back isn't that great, so I can't imagine that this cheese string is that,
yeah.
it's just like stained brown string.
Went for a lot of wet wipes that year. A lot of wet wipes. So,
To be honest, fashion sacrifices are worth it. You want to wear a thong, just
mm,
means you've got to steam clean your back area every time you've had
without doubt.
a sit down job.
Hmm.
Yeah. All right, let me clear my throat.
Come on, son.
Apologies to the listeners because I've been coughing and spluttering, but I've got a little bit of thing going on. La 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 la.
Beautiful.
GTA is like the Lone Ranger riding on now. Bring hidden gems to me.
Wow. Wow. I actually got a bit emotional then.
Oh, it
I'm all right
reminds you
now.
of the time
Right.
that your grandmother passed away, did it?
Yeah. Similar. Yeah. I mean,
It's the only
you,
time you've ever felt emotion, you machine.
yeah. The only time I ever wept. The only time I ever will.
Wept. Glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
Right, tell me,
Wow.
because this will see a spike in listeners because the algorithm's going to let everybody know this had a hidden gem in it. You are the diamond to my clay. Tell me,
Yeah.
there's a Minecraft reference for you there.
Hmm.
Tell me, what is this game, and are we playing the guessing game? You
Do
got
you
the
want to play?
patience for that?
We'll play. Yeah, we'll play guessing game, shall we?
Okay, all right.
The platform is the Nintendo DS. The developer is a company called Sing, CING, and the style of game
It's more
is
like Singe.
uh, yeah. That I'm glad you said that. Um, the style it's a strange one. It's more like a first person point and click adventure. Ooh, yeah. And it was released in 2007.
Hang on, let me just give me some of those again because I was trying that hard not to laugh at what Singe rhymes with that I just completely lost it. So it's on DS.
Hmm. DS. It's like a you
Why
could.
did I even go there?
I know.
It
It's
is. No, it can't be. Well, it could be. Can you give me the genre?
it's like I say. It's like a first person point and click, almost graphic novel adventure. If that makes sense. It's got all those elements involved in it. It's either a game you've probably
Is
either
it Ace
really
Attorney?
no. It's
Is it
something.
like that?
No, yeah, maybe a bit. Yeah.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue?
No, no. It's quite an obscure one. You either know it or you don't. I think it's like I say, a single player. 2007 it was released.
Hold. Is it
You s-
like is it like Leighton?
no.
No, what is it then?
It's a game called Hotel Dusk Room 215. Have you heard of that?
Who's the developer?
Sing, not Singe.
Who else is involved? Who's the publisher then?
Nintendo. It's almost like a hand drawn sort of character on there on the front cover. It's set in 1979. He plays a guy called Kyle Hyde, former detective, now working as a salesman. As part of his job, he arrives at a hotel looking for his former partner, Brian Bradley. Checks into Hotel 215. And it's rumoured that this room 215 grants wishes. And he finds the hotel. There's a lot of mysteries, a lot of links to his past. It's a very deep story with spin-off twists and turns. Unusual game. The thing I like about it, you turn your DS up on the side like a book, and you have one screen with the map where you guide him through. Your other screen is first person as you walk through. You can interact with things. You have to solve puzzles and mysteries. At the end of each chapter, you have like an interrogation with someone, and that's like your boss battle to try and solve this mystery of the hotel. And it opens up, a can of worms as to what's happened to his partner and bits and pieces. Um, Very unusual, but very good. I think it applies to quite a lot of people who are very casual gamers, but like reading. I think this is a really good game for them because it is like you hold it like a book. It's like you're playing a book, but it's like you say, a graphic novel. It's quite involved. Um, Looks for a DS looks good. I like the graphical style, that hand drawn sort of sketch sort of style. It's good interaction with the characters. They even did do a sequel to this, Last Window, Secret of Cape West, but it only got released in Europe and Japan because Sing went bankrupt. They went under,
Hmm.
so this didn't get released in North America. The sequel, but this game, I picked this up about 6 months ago for about £2.50. As of
Okay.
checking today,
Yes.
it's around £10. It's shooting up. So if you're going to grab it now. But for £10, I still think it's a bargain. I still think it's really good if you got a DS.
Some variants online are a hell of a lot more expensive than that.
Yeah, yeah, I bet they are. If you get your standard version of CX, it's £10 as of recording this.
Yeah.
Um, but it's that quite relaxed one, and you do feel like you're almost reading a book. Like I say, you hold it like a book, you play through it like a book, and you feel like you're reading the story as you go. But really interesting. I just thought this was unique because of how you play it, the genre of it, which is like a first-person game. It's a puzzle game. It's a mystery game. It's a point-and-click game. It's a graphic novel game. It's all in one. I think it's always quite interesting. I think they pulled it off pretty well. It's a shame they went under doing the second one. Haven't played the second one, but I will. I think that's a bit more expensive, but I will try and pick it
I'll
up.
be
And
honest with you, dude. You were telling me about it. I didn't guess it. Fair enough. I immediately jumped on the Google machine, had a quick look at the box. I've seen this game everywhere.
mm, mm.
Always discounted it.
Yeah, I think a lot of people thought this was just shovelware, bit of cheap shovelware. Like one of them mystery games where you just have to match find the hidden objects game.
Exactly that.
But
Yeah.
it's not. It's actually a proper detective thriller mystery novel, and you work your way through trying to solve the mysteries of Hotel Dusk, especially Room 215. Really, really good. But yeah, I'd recommend it if you've got a DS or DS Lite, whatever. Yeah, if you see it in CX, because it's quite regularly in there in the shops, it's not hard to get hold of.
No.
Grab a copy. It is good. It's worth a playthrough, especially
Like
even
I
at
say, I
£10
don't
now.
think I don't think you're going to struggle to get hold of a copy. I think you're going to kick yourself that you've looked at it and discounted it all these years as,
Mm.
you know. for every great game that potentially could be shovelware, your Nintendogs, your Ace Attorneys, your Hotel Dusks, there's a million copies on the DS
Mm.
that are literal tat.
Yeah.
So it's nice to know that people don't have to work through 1,000 games to find a gem when they've got year-round RGT.
Mm.
So this Hotel Dusk, does it have multiple endings, or is it just one ending for this game? There's a different ways you can go
Um,
through it. What's
I,
going on
I,
here?
I haven't got to the end myself. I do believe there is multiple endings on there as well. So,
Mm,
you could even get a game over if you because you pick clues up as you go through your
mm,
chapter. Then you interrogate the person. If you interrogate them wrong and you accuse them of the wrong thing, it could be game over. You'll have to go back to your save point because you've interrogated them the wrong way and accused them of something that is wrong. So it's quite clever how it does it. You have to put your clues together. You've got a little
mm.
journal you can make notes in. Um, yeah, it's good. It's a good little game. It's not too much that I know there's a lot of genres going on, but it's not too much that this is confusing to do. It's actually really good fun to do. Um, and then on the other hand, it's a story that you want to keep learning more of, and it keeps you playing, keeps you invested. But yeah, if you got a DS or DS or DS Lite, whatever. I mean, I all play DS games. Whatever DS you got, pick a copy up because it's definitely worth a play.
To me, it screams perfect DS fodder. You
Yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
hmm,
yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, really different, but really good.
Okay, well, on that, what high praise. So chuck yourself on the Discord over the next coming weeks, or if you're struggling for a game and you think I ain't got two pennies to rub together, but I want something new, chuck yourself on the obviously once a month, roughly. RGT will bring you a hidden gem, very kind of
Hmm.
him, and then we are getting around to updating it. If you just check the hidden gem section, there's enough there to keep you going for now,
Mm,
and
yeah,
that's being
definitely.
updated on a regularish basis as RGT brings his reviews. Um, he takes them out of his brain and he turns them into something physical and
Mm,
then slaps it on there for us to all read at our leisure.
mm.
Plenty of written material on the Discord,
Yeah,
RGT,
some
plenty of it.
some very different games are there as well for all sort of different genres and bits and pieces, racing, driving, and sports and point and clicks, all on there really, but bit for everyone.
What genre do you think we should do your next hidden gem as?
I don't know. We'll have to.
Strategy.
I don't do strategy.
Any game, any platform, we need a strategy hidden gem, something to
Oh
get our
no.
teeth in,
Hmm.
or two choices, or you can combine these two choices for your next hidden gem: sim or strategy sim.
So these are for you then, aren't they?
I think I've been terribly generous up until this point. I've let you recommend
You've changed.
maybe if I'm interested in it, someone else is interested in it, therefore there's content in it.
You just want a new simulation game to play, don't you?
I need a new one. Yeah, something
Yeah.
you recommend to me. Yeah, I need something safe because I didn't mention that I downloaded. Don't
Oh no.
look at me. Don't judge me now. Not like this. Not now. Not on the show. Not during this section of the show. Don't
Oh
judge me.
no, no, no.
Look at the floor so I can talk.
Okay.
I've been
Are you ashamed?
not necessarily a little bit. Yeah. Um, Gold Rush, the game that came out that I've been sort of
The one you bought
skirting.
and never played?
That's a little strong, but yeah.
Is it
I
true though?
decided, yeah. Well, they've lost the
Yeah.
Gold Rush franchise, so it's been rebadged as Gold Mining Simulator.
Right.
Every picture in the game's changed. Everything, every placeholder, every logo. Do you know what? While they're at it, while they were stripping all the Gold Rush assets out, they actually updated the game so it's playable. How very kind.
Oh, yeah, that's worth downloading that for £30 5 years ago, and
It was, yeah. It's worth a revisit 5 years after the loss of franchise. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely. So they're working on a sequel for PC, which is obviously great news for PC players, Steam Deck users, that kind of character. But for the console user, you're done. But I was finding some enjoyment in it. I got stuck into like an hour's worth of gameplay loop. I had Rachel sat on one side of the sofa, oh yeah, we need this, we need that, we need the miner's moss, we need the buckets, we need this, we need that, dig here, do this, do that, rent this claim. Yeah, we're doing it together. Um, when her interest waned, mine also did immediately. So, okay, you're done with this. I'm so done with this. So just to let you know, Gold Mining Simulator, aka Gold Rush the game. Don't waste your time on it.
Really?
That review's been 2 years in the making.
Hmm.
No doubt. Come next week, I'll tell you I've been playing it for 60 hours solid.
Yep. I would imagine that is what's going to happen.
If that's news, and one would argue it's probably not, it's time we've got some real news out. It's time for us to scour the very darkest regions of the internet to bring you the latest stories. First up, RGT and something that caught my eye over on the old interweb the other day. And I know it's probably only me that has beef about this, but I've got beef about this. So let me share this story with you. Um, Father, Son, and the Holy Ghost, Push Square, bring us this story, penned by the immortal, and if you're listening, what a great last name, Stephen Tailby. Little Big Planet Erasure continues. The Sackboy removed from PlayStation Productions logo. Now, I've talked about this, RGT, how I feel like Sony can't have more than one pet at a time. It finds it very hard to love multiples. And it finds it so hard to love multiples that it feels it needs to grind its ex into the dirt as if it was a piece of dog feces collected up as you take the kids to school. And you've got those tight weave trainers on, so you can't just wipe it on the grass. It's kind of almost become part of your trainer's DNA. You know that you're going to have to kind of get some boiling hot water, some fairy, and sadly, you're going to have to lose a toothbrush over this bad boy. It's that kind of scenario. So,
Wow.
yeah, and actually cleaning it out, you see little bits of dried wheat husk from its dry biscuits and stuff, and you're fighting the urge to vomit.
Well, I am now, if I'm honest.
I am as well. Problem with a good imagination is you can taste that dog shit. Sony appears to have cut Sackboy from its PlayStation Productions logo screen that plays before its movies. Don't panic, George. It's the sign of a bigger problem. The animation features multiple characters from across numerous first-party franchises such as Horizon, God of War, Astrobot, and so on. Sackboy's been a big part of the gang up till now, but the latest PS Productions flick has removed him from the logo. As spotted by @RealRadek on X, the Until Dawn movie does not feature Sackboy where he usually appears. This follows a delisting and online shutdown of Little Big Planet 3, which was previously the only way to play the community's millions of levels, the millions of hours that were poured into that franchise over the last 2 decades. Aside from some free standalone Sackboy costumes, which are still inexplicably available on the PS Store, the Little Big Planet series is largely consigned to history, and the character's absence from the PS Productions logo is another nail in the coffin. While it's spin-off of sorts, Sackboy Big Adventure is the latest title starring the crafty character and its charming 3D platformer, which you should check out if you haven't already. All these people come raving to me about Astrobot, and that's the story, RGT. This is where I want to get stuck into it, if I may. All these people come raving to me about Astrobot, and I'm sat there thinking, you had a mascot that could dress up as other characters from your other games, that had a reason to walk through worlds and explore. He also forced them
Mm.
into a 3D world with Sackboy Adventures and did all the cool things that people are raving about in Astrobot right now. Now, it was a launch title, so it must have been developed simultaneously within a silo at Sony HQ alongside Astrobot. Now, obviously, Media Molecule were busy, so they had nothing to do with Sackboy's Big Adventure apart from supply assets, etc., I should imagine. But terribly great game, very innovative. If people had played it, that there's some levels that are set to music, where the whole game kind of pulses and
Mm.
vibes to the rhythm of the song, and things happen in the background to the sort of chorus lyrics as they happen. And I thought, I've been thinking this for a long time. Why? When did Astrobot become the de facto mascot, and when did we decide that we collectively hated Sackboy so much that we were going to literally kick him out of the family home?
Um, I'll play devil's advocate now. I mean, is Sackboy even relevant anymore?
It's
Is he?
Listen, dude,
Is,
it's up to
they've
you.
moved on. It's a new mascot now.
Make him as relevant as you like. It's up to them to make him relevant.
Hmm. And they decided they didn't want to. I suppose they got Astrobot, sold a
I
lot more
have done
copies, more
some
popular.
digging. Before Astrobot's ascendance, Sony were doing a lot of surveys of users and basically asking them what their opinion of Sackboy was. Now, obviously, that wasn't very favourable. Hence why we've got what I would call alopecia Sackboy. He's got the same dimensions. He's got the same size head. He's got the same size body. He's got the same little legs and arms. He's
Yeah,
literally Sackboy has unzipped himself. And
yeah,
inside, all along, was Astrobot.
yeah.
In fact, it's not hard to imagine that Sackboy. Oh, Sony, I've just saved you millions. Sackboy is Astrobot.
There you go. You answered your own question.
Okay, so next bit of news articles. No, in all honesty, though, to me, Sackboy was a mute, which always works quite well from a marketing point of view because you can't put words in his mouth. Therefore, he doesn't need to be spoken. Therefore, he's usable across the world without
Yeah.
needing to relocalize the guy. Same for Astrobot. Very cute, very small, immediately recognizable. I just felt like Sackboy never really got his turn in the barrel. And he's been dropped where right now nostalgia would peak him back.
I suppose so. I mean, he really peaked on the PS3, and
Yeah,
then it's been a bit of a slow decline since. You're right. The PS5 game at launch is very good. Actually, it's very underrated, that game. Um, people talk about open world or more open level 3D platformers, but no one ever mentions the Sackboy game, and it is a very good game. It is good,
it is.
but I don't know. I suppose they've Astrobot seemed to hit. People really enjoyed him.
Let me ask you this question. If Sackboy's Little Adventure, or Sackboy's Adventure, or whatever it's called, had been free on the dashboard of PS5 and not a £70 purchasable game, would we have a different story here?
No,
You don't
no,
think?
no, no. Because I just think Astrobot is the new Sackboy. I think it's moved on from him. I think they've gone to the next level of platformer. They've got the music, they've got the levels, they've got that space theme, and they've almost took Sackboy, boosted it, made Astrobot, and that's taken it to the next level. I honestly think Sackboy is he's dead. I think he's gone, and removing him from the thing is a bit harsh, I suppose, because he was a big part of the PS3 era
He's
for
the
PlayStation.
mascot, dude. He's the mascot.
But I think he's gone. I think Astrobot is now
You
is
know,
your
do you know what this
mascot.
reminds me of? This is modern
What?
world. You know, new guy, been in the background and working his socks off for 20 years, right? But because he's been working so hard, because he's been here so long, he just fades into the background as part of the furniture. Everyone's like, yeah, he got his plaudits 5 years ago. He just turns up and does a shift now. New guy turns up doing exactly the same work as other mate. They can't spare blooming Sharon. There's one for the YouTube listener. They're Sharon in it.
Yeah,
Absolutely
but
embarrassing.
no, it's like the
Does
new
that
guy.
mean Sony's going to drop Astrobot like a hot stone in less than 8 years now?
Well, if something comes along and does to Astrobot what Astrobot has done to Sackboy, which is better game, better controls, plays better, better
Better
story,
game.
better music, yeah, I think then yeah,
Are you
that will happen.
suggesting to me that Little Big Planet 1 is less innovative than Astrobot?
No, I'm not saying it's less in that word. I'm
Yeah.
saying this, but I think overall, my personal opinion, Astrobot is a better game.
Hmm. Wow. Okay.
Mm.
Well, any Sackboy lovers out there, you know where to find me. RGT, what's this? Are Sony, as a wider piece, are Sony guilty of burning through their, Xbox? We kick them. Oh, that guy's bored of drawing Master Chief's helmet for 30 years. Yeah, okay, fair enough. But they don't do dirty on their heroes the way
No, they
Sony
don't.
do.
No, no, you're completely correct. If you, I always think if you have a mascot, I mean, look at Mario. If you have a mascot, you keep them going. You keep the if you keep the quality of the games up, then they'll sell. But if you're just moving on to another studio every time that's come up with a new mascot, then that nostalgia sort of falls flat a bit because as you're going through, you've had three, four different mascots with PlayStation. You're not holding on to that same one. You know, I think too right for Xbox. Grab onto Master Chief. You know, especially the first three, four games are superb. You know, they made Xbox. There's a lot to learn from what they done with that, and they rightly so. They show it off. PlayStation Smutch. I mean, we had Crash and Sackboy, and now we've got Astrobot. You know, they don't seem to have the same affinity to a mascot. It's more like they have a mascot on their systems.
Astrobot's Poochie to Sackboy's Itchy and Scratchy, in my humble opinion.
Wow. But yeah, no, I do agree with you on that. I don't think that I think they lose quite a bit of identity by not grabbing onto a mascot and just supporting it all the way through. That's a
But
shame.
you know what is Sony's identity? Because they seem to reinvent themselves every time.
I
When they
don't know.
launched, they were the grown-up. You know, you go to raves, or you need PlayStation
Need
Hardcore
Wipeout.
Wipeout.
You know, they had
Underground,
Crash Bandicoot turning up at Nintendo headquarters shouting, you know, "Hey, Mr. Plumber Boy," and all that. Where's Crash now? You know, he's technically owned probably by Microsoft, so
Yeah,
it's
he's Phil Spencer's gimp. He's down in the cellar with a gag in, literally. Just every time the door opens, he just starts crying. He's like, "Oh no, Phil, Uncle Phil, please can I have a game?" Like, no, shut up.
so it's just it's odd with that. It's hard to you can link, if you say Nathan Drake or you say what's the other one I was thinking of, Kratos, you link them to PlayStation, but they're not a mascot of PlayStation. Do you know what I mean? You don't. It's just a shame they haven't got that it does lack identity because Mario, is Nintendo. Master Chief, well, at the moment, is Xbox, but that could change very soon. But you just know that is an Xbox brand. He's even green, for God's sake. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, they do
Yeah, no,
lose.
I
They
agree.
do lose. They do lose it. With that, I totally agree with that.
I
That's a
mean,
shame
Crash
that
is locked in a room with Banjo and Kazooie at the moment, isn't he?
and
It's just
Spyro and God knows who else is all tied up
sat
there.
round in a room, right, on a load of chairs, arranged in a circle, looking at the floor. It's like ex mascots, bloody anonymous.
Yeah,
You got Conker,
they tried. Yeah,
Pop,
tried ringed PlayStation, but they've blocked the number. Yeah, we don't want to know you
Marcus
anymore.
Phoenix is sat there next to him, like
Just
just
ghosted them.
grumbling and grinding. You got
Yeah,
Spyro like that. What was I ever loved?
yeah. What did I do so wrong?
I do. You rebooted me.
No, then I ended up on a Game Boy Advance.
Sly Raccoon's like that. Tell me about it, boys.
Yeah, you got a long road to go as yet, fellas.
Your favourite just stumbles in the
Yeah.
door. Nathan Drake, beard gut, totally wasted. Like, where's
Trip,
it to place with all the mascots?
tripped over Jack and Dax to sniffing glue on the floor. It's just a whole heap of wasted mascots. Right, let's get on to this next bit of news. This is found this on Nintendo Life.
Bubsy in the corner with a load of like food stuck in his fur, just like you guys don't know the half of it. Zool over there sniffing a chupa chup like you guys. You just don't even know. in the 90s, a load of old guys just washed up from the 90s where every single person
Zool, all
wanted a
grey with a
mascot.
grey
Yeah,
beard, trench coat on, stinks
Zool
of.
with a Zimmer. I was quick as Sonic back in the day,
Yeah,
boys.
yeah, I honestly was. Now stinks of yak urine.
James Codd's lying there with a lawsuit from Penguin. McVitie's want his hat on a plate.
Bloody hell, how did we get to this? Anyway, next bit of story, Nintendo Life. This is by Liam Doolan. Nintendo Switch System Update 20.00 is now live. Here are the full patch notes. Switch 2 arrives this June, and as part of this, Nintendo has some things it needs to prepare before the new system's arrival. This includes the release of new firmware update for the original Switch today, which bumps the device up to version 20.0.0 and adds features to the home menu, including virtual game card, game share, and more. Nintendo has even made some changes to the system's icons. Apart from this, the ability to system transfer to Nintendo Switch 2 has also been added under system settings. Here are the full patch notes for this latest update, courtesy of Nintendo's official support page. This was released on April the 29th, 2025. The following icons are for new features that have been added to home menu. Virtual game card. Purchase Nintendo Switch digital software DLC and some free software are now virtual game cards and displayed in a list in this menu. You can virtually load and eject virtual game cards between up to 2 Nintendo Switch systems. Virtual game cards can be lent to others in the same Nintendo account family group. For more information, see the virtual game card guide. Game share. Compatible software can be shared from a Nintendo Switch's 2 system to other nearby systems to play together. You can only play via local wireless, and the Nintendo Switch 2 system must initiate a game share. This feature cannot be used between two Nintendo Switch OLED or Nintendo Switch Lite systems. User verification settings has been added under user settings. You can restrict access to virtual game card menu by requiring entry of a PIN or signing into your Nintendo account. Online license settings have been added. When turned on, you can play, download software or DLC you've purchased while the system is connected to the internet, even if you don't have the virtual game card loaded. For more information, please refer to the details and the option of the system settings screen. Also, the Nintendo eShop and Nintendo Switch News icons color on the home screen menu have been changed. Multiple save data can be selected and transferred at once in Transfer Your Save Data menu. System transfer to Nintendo Switch 2 has been added under System Settings and then System. You can perform a system transfer from your Nintendo Switch to a Nintendo Switch 2 using local communication. For users that will lose access to Nintendo Switch before receiving their Nintendo Switch 2, there is an option to upload a system transfer data to a dedicated server, which can then be retrieved on their Nintendo Switch 2. After you upload your system transfer data to the dedicated server, the Nintendo Switch system will be initialized to factory settings, so only perform this transfer if you are able to complete the transfer on Nintendo Switch 2. If you want to continue using your Nintendo Switch until you have a Nintendo Switch 2, we recommend completing the system transfer using local communication after you have required a Nintendo Switch 2 system. An internet connection and Nintendo account is required to complete both local and server-based transfer systems. For more information, see system transfer from Nintendo Switch 2 from Nintendo Switch to Nintendo Switch 2. The appearance of some user icons have been updated. For more details on Nintendo Switch 2, see the Nintendo website. Note that the use of primary console has been depreciated to the transfer to the virtual game cards and pass enabled console and will be used instead on a console set as pass enabled console for a user. All users of the console can access certain subscriptions or passes for some software. And again, for more information, see how to set or change password enabled console for a Nintendo account. So that is a bit of a monster, but we knew it was coming with what we got now, less than or about 4 weeks to the launch of the Switch 2. So
Well, the reason why I lobbed it in there for many reasons, and I'll start at the top. And I woke up the other morning and
I've
turned
done the
on the
same thing.
Switch and felt like I had a Switch 2 all of a sudden.
Yeah, yeah,
The
yeah. I was the same.
graphical logo changes, the Nintendo news section, the online section of the Switch, different menus for the options, different. The overall look of the Switch feels nice now. Everything's been branded to that red.
I even
And
I downloaded that Escape from Mistwood Manor, and suddenly it just said game card downloader with a little card going in. I thought, the
yeah,
hell's going on here? What's this all about?
exactly. And if you
Yeah,
notice, there's an icon for a game card above all your games now.
yeah.
And if their online store, that's filled in. If not, you've got to pop your game card in. Generally, I've been impressed. The one place where I'm most impressed, and this is the main reason for bringing this in here, is the Switch store. Obviously, you and I have talked about the orange.
Ooh, yeah,
That's gone.
yeah.
We're now flashy red. We're in the store. A store that, bizarrely, all of a sudden has been curated with the Nintendo Gold seal of quality. Now you have to dig to find the trash, and the treasure and the nuggets are right on the surface waiting
At
for us.
last, at last, eight
And I
years
do
too late, but
believe
at last.
this curation has come at the right time.
Hmm.
The swamp needed draining before the Switch 2 came along, right?
Especially with these virtual game cards, a lot more digital. It's going to be a lot more digital people using the Switch, so they needed to sort that, and they've done it. To be fair, they've done it. So
And the other reason for this being here is they have made damn sure that their Switch business, Switch One business, is scalable and transferable in the most easiest and frictionless way
mm,
possible because they cannot afford to lose users to this.
I like this idea of if you're getting rid of your Switch before you switch to, you can
Mm.
upload it to the cloud, and
Like
they'll
they've
hold
thought
it
about
there.
that poor dude or dudette that's doing the trading thing. Like they can sell it
Yeah,
now for X, but now they've got to go gameless for a couple of months while they wait for their Switch 2 to arrive.
yeah.
They've considered every angle.
Which did
And they've
surprise me with Nintendo, to be honest. But I can understand from like you were saying, they needed this to be a perfect changeover, really.
they the hemorrhage of users from Switch 1 to Switch 2, they must be super nervous about because
Mm,
they've got now arguably their biggest ever install of active
mm,
users.
definitely.
It's not like the Wii or whatever, where people, grannies bought one for when little Johnny popped round so he could do his Wii boxing and whatnot, and
Yeah,
then it got turned on probably once a decade or something
yeah.
ridiculous. Now, these Switches tend to be a lot more active,
Mm,
and they've become, in some ways, people's primary console, but in some ways, people's secondary console.
yeah.
Um, they can't afford um, to lose.
No.
Hang on, the UCP cat for some reason is moaning. Come on.
Was that Adam?
Yeah. The only podcast that names a cat Adam.
Yeah. Come on,
Uh,
Adam. Jesus.
well, I've opened the door now and he's just stood at the threshold. I got what I wanted. I got the interaction. I got the door open. I got my name read out on air.
He's gone, what do you mean
Yeah,
Sackboy's dead? What are you on about?
that's what he's here. Oh, what
Uh,
do you mean? Oh, you've got me dressed up as him.
yeah.
Yeah, I do that. I get all my pets dressed up as my ex loves. Come on. Uh,
Wow, that's a statement that needs remembering. Woo. I'm writing that one down.
part of the law.
Yep.
Anyway, so well done to Nintendo. I think they're at the moment they're handling the Switch with a real nice maturity.
They are. I mean,
Um,
they keep coming under a lot of criticism, but I think
I don't know where this criticism is coming from. Now, this criticism, I have to think, I've been thinking recently, is this coming from people? A lot of the criticism has been, oh, the Switch is too expensive. Is it?
no, I don't think it is.
I don't think it is. I genuinely don't think it is.
I
It's
think it's
never going to
quite a
be the
bit of
same
kit for
price.
what you're paying, and in today's market, in
Classic,
today's
mate.
prices,
classic internet issue of people. This is going to sound. This is a jaded George moment, but I feel it needs a bit of an explanation. The internet's a strange place, one that we convince ourselves in some way reflects reality and current opinion. It doesn't at all. It allows vocal people, minorities, to get very vocal, which convinces all that's the current feeling in the world, the barometer per se. But it's wrong. It's absolutely wrong, because it amplifies the wrong noise. The noise about the negativity of the Switch 2 is based around the price. Look, I know that damn near $500, it's not that much, but hear me out, is a big stretch for anyone. And we're in quite hard financial times. I'm not even going to beat around the bush to say it. Like £500 is hard to get hold of. But just because you're annoyed that you haven't managed to scrape together £500 for the Switch's launch, or are aware that it might take you a while to scratch it together, instead of letting other people enjoy it, who maybe saw the writing on the wall and saved up, or trade in their Switch or other consoles and games to get to this point, why you ruin it for them?
Yeah, I did see quite a few people I've seen on YouTube who've been overly critical of it. Have then finished videos by saying, "Oh, I didn't manage to pre-order mine." So you were trying to get one anyway. So are you just jaded because you didn't get one? I don't know. It just seems very odd to me. I mean, I know there's been a lot of people moaning about these virtual game cards. I mean, you can't moan about something you haven't used yet. Let's just wait and see.
Well,
See what
mate,
happens.
is
At
it
the
any
end of the
different to a code in a box? Like, no, at least you're
no,
getting
and
something
also
for it.
at the end of the day, this is what Nintendo's doing. If you don't like it, don't buy it. I mean,
That's
yes,
the other argument. If you
we're
don't
in.
like it, don't buy it.
Yeah, we're into physical games. We are, but times are changing. You got to admit that. I love physical media. I love buying a game physically, but things are changing, and you might not like that, but
Well,
that's the way they go. And
let me put some frame around that. I love collecting physical media, or have loved collecting physical media. I'm currently in a bit of a strange place with physical media because I broke the chain when I got the Pro. Didn't have a disk drive. Got by, got an incredibly big library thanks to the generosity of PlayStation and the online package to this point. Hundreds of games. I've also got premium. At this point, thousands of games combined. Thousands of game library. Didn't need to really be downloading or didn't need to be buying anything really. And it was at that moment, maybe Sony have noticed this, but the disc drive launched at £99 and it's been sold out everywhere. Now, obviously, the Switch 2's come along. The scalpers got something better to be interested. Sony dropped the price to $69.99. I managed to pick one up and they had stock. I was so happy. Finally, this problem's been resolved. Attach it to the console. Pretty seamless experience, to be fair. Nothing too arduous in it. It's always a little bit scary opening the PlayStation 5, popping the vulva of a PlayStation 5 for the first time because of the removable plates. They're not as removable initially as you first think they're going to be.
no,
That
there's
first
a technique
removal
to it. And there
is terrifying. And even when you know the technique, the first time you
hear the
sort of
pop.
de-lid a PS5, the pop.
Is it a pop or is it a break? That's the thing.
Either which way. The first time you de-skin a PS5, you feel like you've irreparably damaged it.
Yeah.
So apart from that being replicated, because my PS5 is well broken in now, stripped that back and cleaned it more times than I've had up dinners. This is the first time I peeled the lid back on the 5 Pro, and I was a bit like, oh God. Anyway, I got that on and it was seamless enough. Some new legs and the thing looks great. Have I used a disk drive? Not really. Not really. And now I'm starting to think, hang on. I'm changing.
You are changing. I suppose I still think you've done the right thing getting your disk drive because of the amount of physical media you got and you got a portal. It gives you that.
Exactly.
Yeah. But I think if you didn't need a portal and that was your main system, did you need that disk drive?
Dude, if you've got a portal and you've got premium and you've got a library, did you need the disk drive?
Probably
Because
not. No.
do you know what now? It feels like an unnecessary inconvenience between me and the game. If I'm using the portal, I'm away and I'm like, oh, I'm going to put Final Fantasy 16 in the drive. Cool beans, George. But what if you change your mind? You want to play Star Wars Outlaws DLC while you're away? Hmm.
Mm,
Now I'm stuck.
you need a
If
six
only I,
disc changer.
if only they did. If they did one, dude, do you not
Yeah.
think I'd be buying it? Because
Sony,
I would.
message me. Message me.
My God, over that.
Imagine a
Unbelievable.
massive CD trying to change all the discs over.
Well, one thing I did notice about the 5 to the Pro was the disk drive was so much quieter. My Mark One launch PS5's disk drive, even from launch, sounded like a badly maintained twin tub washing machine from 1964 being used today, sans servicing.
Hmm.
And it was loud, it was obnoxious. I always used to think you've done wonderful work on the fan, Sony. Shame that that's been completely ruined by the disk drive. Sounded like a stalling Mark II diesel Sierra.
Yeah, my
It
disk
was a bit
drive's
much.
my disk drive's only loud on the first sort of couple of minutes of install, and then it just quietens right down. But that's that for when that first that the disk
Nah,
in.
don't forget. Once you've installed it and you power your console back on so you think, oh, I'll play my console. Oh yeah, I'll play that game. For the first 2 minutes of you playing that game off of disk, even though it doesn't need the disk drive whirs up and then grinds. And so it's an Eaton twin splitter with a clutch in backwards. It's a disaster zone. But the Pro and this removable disk drive fixes it, RGT. I must shout that from the rooftops. It is whisper quiet.
Is it really? Oh, well
Mm.
done. Oh, that's
And
good.
I did not expect it. I thought this was going to be a cheap disk drive
I
that
just
they
thought it
just
was just
banged
the
out.
same disk drive that was just modular. I didn't realise it was a
Well,
new
if it is, then what have they done?
bit of oil, bit of WD, lube that
Maybe in
bad boy up.
3 weeks from now, mine's going to sound like.
Yeah, Final Fantasy 16. Oh, great. Here we go.
I hope not, because it's been quite a nice
Mm,
experience. Now,
refined, isn't it?
mention it is. That's a great term. Pure Xbox told you would visit the Holy Trinity. Trinity. It's my new teeth. Forgive me for it. Fraser Gilbert reports Xbox One platform, number one platform for Clair Obscure Expedition 33, but worse for average playtime. That's the Game Pass influence for you. Effluence for you. Clair Obscure Expedition 33 attracted a massive audience on Xbox Game Pass when it launched last week, even despite the shadow drop of Oblivion remastered a couple of days earlier. I did hear a lot of publishers get a little bit sort of upset about that shadow drop because they'd put weeks and weeks into preparing the oxygen supply for their game for to have it absolutely ripped from its face because Oblivion Remastered just
Mm.
decided to appear. I think indie developers majoritively were the most sort of disappointed, but
Mm.
it is what it is. Anyway, as reported by the Games Business, new Ampere data has revealed that 45% of Expedition 33 players are on Xbox at launch, followed by 30% on PS5, 25% on Steam. It was a similar situation for Oblivion Remastered, which racked up a whopping 47% of players on Xbox, 30% on Steam, and 19% on PS5. Xbox was the number one platform for both games because of that Games Pass inclusion. 45% of Expedition 33 players are on Xbox, while 47% of players, Oblivion players, were on Microsoft's platform. As mentioned, Xbox Games Pass is the big reason why Xbox has become the number one platform for some players, and it's also why it's the worst for average playtime. Clair Obscure Expedition 33 on Xboxes have only racked up an average of 2.2 hours, while that number is doubled to 4.4 hours on both PS5 and Steam. Oblivion, once again, fares very similarly. There's nothing too unexpected about this, as loads of curious Xbox Games Pass owners will have tried Expedition 33 and bounced off it for whatever reason, whereas those who are buying it on PS5 and Steam are the game's target audience and obviously want to get their money's worth. Anyway, the good news is that Oblivion Remastered didn't affect Clair Obscure Expedition 33 too harshly. according to Expedition 33's publisher, with Kepler Interactive's senior portfolio director stating that the launch went as well as it could have possibly done in our eyes, and the proximity to Oblivion didn't seem to harm us at all. So RGT, we've talked, the industry's talked, many people have talked about Games Pass, good or bad for the industry. We've talked about our own experiences with either Games Pass or PlayStation Premium, as it's now known. And I've directly talked about how taking a game from a free online service, one that you actually, we need to reword this. It's not free.
It's not free. It's not free.
Taking your game from a subscription service versus paying the RRP for it mean that you mentally treat the game differently.
From a personal opinion, definitely.
And that has been borne out in the stats that we've seen reported.
Yeah, that's downloads to playtime is the downloads almost a false figure, really. People have got Games Pass, something new has come on, loads of people have downloaded it, not many of them have played it. Do you know what I mean? And if they have, they're bounced off quick. But going forward, is this going to be the way? Do you know what I mean? Are these subscription services? I mean, I have Premium. Do I download much off Premium? No, I don't. And it sounds.
I use the streaming functionality.
Yeah.
Even then, it's limited, and I've said this before, and I'll say it again. I know I am bizarre to want to download a game from Premium to my PlayStation 5 and stream it from there, but it helps with the ownership. I've installed this now. It's not just some throwaway piece of garbage on a cloud.
No, you're right.
I technically have this on my console, and I find that's one of the only ways where I can grip into it a bit more, RGT. Because if I stream it from the cloud, my opinion of the game is already through the floor.
Yeah, and I said this at the start of the show, and I was saying I had Netflix syndrome. I was flicking through Premium and just couldn't find nothing to play. You just get all this just random games chucked at you. When you even try and filter it, and then you still don't see what you want to see. It's such a weird way of gaming. I mean, it's the same with TV. Are we used to it with TV a bit more now? Probably. But, I mean, it doesn't click with me. I had Games Pass.
Absorbing TV like this is totally fine. Even if a series is 22 episodes long and there's 2 series, that's 44 hours. Compare that to your Xeno playthrough. You don't even touch the sides. You can't push content the same as other content because that TV content is pushed in a different way. It's disposable. You can do it while you're eating your tea. You can do it while sitting there with your partner. She can be checked in. You can be checked out. She can be checked. You can be checked in. She can be checked out. It's totally different. A game requires you to maintain focus from start to finish. Otherwise, it doesn't get finished. You need to be able to have some investment in it, else you're never going to push it forward. It's not something that's terribly sociable at times. They're getting better from a single-player story point of view. They're good enough where a passenger player can still enjoy it because of the story beats, the nuance, the emotion, the acting, the graphicals, the presentation is still enjoyable from a third-party point of view. But TV doesn't have any of these issues. TV doesn't have any bars to entry. It doesn't have a skill level.
I'll tell you who I think has got this right, and that's Nintendo. You subscribe to their online service. You pay whatever it is. It's cheap for the year, £35, £40, whatever it is for a year. And then what
quid, I think it is.
And they give you a library to go through, but it's a back catalogue of retro, and it's just there on the side if you want to play it. But your main games you purchase, so you're still getting something for subscribing to them, but you're getting the retro, you're getting the N64, you're getting Mega Drive, you're getting NES, you're getting Super Nintendo. You've got all those games there, but they're not affecting the sales of the games that are coming out. I think they've got that happy medium, and I think they're absolutely bang on with it. Do I like PlayStation Premium or Extra? No, I don't. Do I like Games Pass? No, I don't. It's just not for me. I know it's for a lot of people, and I understand that's perfect. That's perfect for a lot of people. For me, I'm with you. If Xenoblade Chronicles X had it been on a Nintendo service that I subscribed to and I downloaded it, I'd have done 2 hours of that and dumped that game.
Mm.
But I didn't. I paid 50 whatever pound for this game, so I wanted to push through and see what I could learn from this game. Otherwise, I wouldn't have
Hmm.
gone back to it. I'd have just bounced off onto the next thing, you know. And
Well, it
it's
holds bizarrely
that might be a
me.
me thing, but you know,
No,
that's
I think you know how we had to reframe my speech on the way into this because I said, "Oh, it's free."
hmm
I genuinely believe that's the sales methodology behind these services. We
no,
think
you're
they're free.
correct. Yeah, yeah. Because people say, "Oh, I got that day and date for nothing." You didn't. You've probably only downloaded two AAA games this year, but you've probably played £170 in subscriptions. So you're actually
Mm.
no better off from the games you would have actually bought. So
Not
do you know what I mean?
exactly.
So it's yes, there is back catalogue games there. Are you playing them? Are you downloading all these 360 games and bits and pieces, or PS2 games? Are you streaming PS3 games? I would probably like to say not many people are.
I was thrilled to see. The rumors are that we might even be able to download PS3 games in the imminent future. I don't think it matters one jot. I was
No,
excited to see PlayStation 3
yeah,
games launch on the service. Is
definitely.
PlayStation 3 my favorite PlayStation? Yeah, actually, maybe it is.
Hmm.
Am I going to play them? No. Why? I don't know. I've got the original hardware. Am I likely to fire that up and play it on there? No. I don't know what's wrong with me. OG Tom had it right the whole time. Nostalgia's all right, but it's good for nothing.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah,
not nostalgia is going to fill a shed or a spare bedroom with
yeah,
stacks of old games.
yeah.
And do you know what? If I sat down and attached electrodes to your nipples and tortured you,
hmm
not only would you subscribe to the
What
show
again?
immediately, yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. You need a new. This is how you resubscribe to the UCP.
yeah.
But you would swear to me on your firstborn child's life that you have every intention of playing these games.
Oh
But
God, yeah.
sadly, the reality in your brain doesn't bear up to the reality. You're never going to play these games.
Not hoping hell.
And we're not playing them on the premium services. So what are we doing?
Hmm. Yeah.
What are we doing?
It's well, for physical collection is nice to have, and it's the thrill of the hunt as well as it is as playing it. It's for me
Yeah. For me, the
on
difference.
digital that I don't get that. I know some people will. The digital age people are coming through. They've probably got digital libraries. They've probably got emulation boxes racked up with thousands of games which they've collected. And fair play. Um, I'm more of a physical media guy. But even so, I do play digital games. I do download digital games. But does a digital game on a subscription service mean as much to you as pre-ordering, buying that game, and then playing it? No, it doesn't.
Yeah, but even the buying experience now has become poisoned, hasn't it? Because
Yeah, it's
you,
it's it's a
you
click
used
and a
to be
deliver to
able
your
to,
door, isn't it? But
yeah, you used to be able to get excited, take the day off work. You still can do that, but it would be it would be parenthesized by trying to stay up till midnight, organising with your mates, your family members, what time you were going to drive down into town to stand outside your local game store. While you're in there, you could buy a little bit of tat. There might have been some pre-order shenanigans. Probably a rag. One of those things you tie around your head. Probably something daft like that. But you lapped it up because you're like, oh, if it's free, give it me. I've stood outside on July afternoon at midnight. I damn deserve my rag. Um,
yeah,
and you there, you're taking the pin badge, and they're offering you the Brady guide, and you say, no, I don't need it. And then you're thinking, maybe I do, and it's only half price, so I'll get it now. And
you're
then you're
giving me
getting in
such
the
a nostalgia vibe now. I tell you, Brady guides, getting
Oh,
the game.
you've probably had to
Oh
substantiate your
man,
gaming props in the queue as well, because some guy was there like 30 seconds before you, so he's more of a gamer than you. So then you get into a bit of a chest out about, well, I've been a big supporter of this console and this franchise since day one, mate. I'm the guy. And he's like, no, I'm the guy. You can see it now, can't you? That sort of drivel. That's all part of the shenanigans, the playground battles of who's got this, that, the other love, and not. And then you're walking back to the car and you're cuddling your console or the game close to your chest because it's midnight. There's
Hmm.
drunken crazy people about who might
Mm.
just fancy a slice of grabbing that game straight out. What's that? Oh, I'm gonna lose a boy. Look around. He's got kebab smeared all over his face. But he's calling the Cyberman a loser because he's clutching a piece of plastic silicon with a piece of silicon inside of it. Look at him! Got a piercing. So you sneak back to your car like some sort of shadowy, geeky ne'er-do-well, and you have to drive back where you imagine all the different things you're gonna do, and you get home, and admittedly the situation's been slightly depraved over recent years because then you have to sit and look at Instagram reels while you wait till 4 in the morning for it to download and finally install the day one patches. But yeah, you're up at 4 in the morning, you're ready,
Yeah.
geared up, and you slide into that game and lose yourself until you fall asleep, probably 20 minutes later. But you know, the experience was yours and
Yeah.
yours alone.
Yeah.
That excitement now gone.
Mm.
You know, new games come out, new game's been announced. Don't forget to go on the digital store and pre-order it, or what? In case they sell out of digital copies. Do yourself a favour, dude.
I've never
Honestly.
thought of it like that as well, actually. Why would you pre-order? Yeah, that's why they offer perks to pre-order now, isn't it? On digitals, because otherwise there's no reason to pre-order digital. I
Well,
didn't
why
think of
would
that.
you?
Yeah,
Oh
I've
God!
never thought of that.
It's 1 minute past 12. If I don't get on the digital store in a minute, maybe the game will be sold out. Oh, dude, have a word with yourself.
Yeah,
Have
yeah,
a
I didn't
word with
think of that.
yourself. Like
Yeah.
when GTA San An launched, as an example, there was hype that the game might sell out,
Mm,
and
yeah,
therefore you might not be able to play it.
yeah,
It's my only way to play it. Not
yeah,
now.
yeah,
Uh, why are you downloading it now? Just download it in the morning. Go to sleep. You're right. In fact, go to bed. Download it from your phone. It'll be ready for you when you get up in the morning.
yeah, yeah,
I can do that. Yeah, yeah. And this is the only time pre-order makes sense because instead of staying up till midnight for it to click and say buy, pre-order it now, pre-download it to your console, be ready for you in the morning. There are perks to either,
yeah,
right? But to me, saying goodbye to that whole, and in a way, how we have bought and done business and got excited about things in history is hard to let go of.
mm,
But in the absolutely ravaged retail environment is the UK high street. And I would argue, based on information that we've gathered up across the world, the retail brick and mortar stores are either struggling or they're done.
yeah, yeah,
Sad,
yeah,
really.
yeah. It is. Yeah, yeah. It is.
Anyway, let me apply my Red Faction rag as I say. Yeah, that's right. What are they called? Is it rags?
I really don't know. I'd hate to comment on it really in case I make a dubious slip.
Mate, if you're that terrified of upsetting someone because you called a triangular of cloth by the wrong name,
Mm,
as we use it as a description of some tat
mm,
for a PlayStation 2 era game that most people have forgotten about and has no inclination to be any way attached to that merchandise that they're giving away for free. Can you
mm.
imagine working in, I don't even know who makes it, THQ, the publisher? Oh, we need some pre-order stuff for this sort of shooter game, destructible scenery. It's a bit of a first, yeah. Um, Set on Mars, futuristic shooter. All right, yeah. You better pre-order 4,000 rags.
Yeah,
The Red Faction logo nailed on it. Yeah, yeah, that'll be the decision maker at the till, Brian. Yeah,
yeah.
absolutely great idea. Bang it! Yes.
Random merch.
The most random merch. Pre-ordering an Xbox 360. Don't forget your beanie and your badges. I'm somebody. I bet that hat's probably worth some. I bet that hat and those pins still on that piece of green cardboard's probably worth a bit of. Where are they? They're probably gone. Anyway, sure that beanie's worth at least £3.
Yeah, without a doubt.
That brings us to the end of the news. Thank you to everyone out there. Hope you've enjoyed that.
I suppose the next thing to do, RGT, is to slip and slide into our subscribers, not literally, but into the readout
Yes.
that is part of their tiers perks.
Yep. I can't remember who started last time. Shall I start this time?
I don't even think it matters anymore, RGT.
Okay. Well,
Sooner or later, one of us is going to say something absolutely outrageous. It's only a matter of time.
it's going to be you.
Where did you rather efficiently send me this list, and why am I not seeing it?
It is on your WhatsApp.
Is it right next to a picture of your PlayStation 5 taking a sup from a rather badly erected brewing area?
People are not going to know what we're talking about. This was our fair
Listeners,
chat.
message in if it makes sense to you to have your brewing keg directly underneath your PlayStation 5.
Nothing is sacred in this show, is it? Nothing is sacred. Right, on to the subscribers list.
And listeners
God.
also, tell me the legitimacy of having a brewing keg doing its business sat right between your legs in the front room.
And also tell us,
welcome to the
should George
lounge.
have a decent night's sleep before we record? Right.
This episode will be a hallmark of the quality going forward for season 6.
Great.
Yeah.
It's going to be a struggle. We start
What
off
we're
with
doing is we're managing a very slow decline.
Oh, I would say fairly steep skis
into
like this.
Irrelevance.
Yeah, we're heading at a fair pace.
Every now and then, people remind me that talking in the show like this is probably going to kill the show, but I feel it keeps the show humble.
Yes, keeps us real,
relatable.
There we go.
Can you relate to a man in a PlayStation Primark hoodie? No, I didn't think you could.
No, not at all.
What about RGT coming in looking like he's downloading the very pixels in front of our eyes? Look at your top.
An Atari football shirt.
Is that what that is?
It's a football shirt. Well, it's not a team shirt. It's just ones they made. They're not a football shirt material. Atari with the Atari emblem on the back. Yeah. Don't know if you can see it for the there you go. Anywho, for the visual listeners, visual people there on YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know what it is with us. Whether we've formed too much of an strong audio listening, those that are dedicated to the lore and want to totally believe the places that we say we are, and therefore YouTube would be like the Antichrist to them, really, because they just see two middle-aged men recording prostate in their own what looks like bedrooms. If I'm honest with you.
Yeah.
No, hang on a minute. George is recording from a super secret scientific nuclear bunker.
It's going back.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, just don't check the YouTube out.
No, don't watch that. Just listen. Download as well. Don't stream it. Download.
Yeah, please download it because if you just stream it, our service doesn't even see it as a listen.
Yeah, it's really
super
weird.
Frustrating. We're living in the dark ages where you've got to download it to your device. Look, you're supporting physical media by downloading this show. So stand up and be counted.
Yeah. Are they? Yeah. Right. Anyway, onto our subs list.
Have got a cassette of the show.
Yeah. Well, they have. Yes, a very, very. What should I say? Very special few. I shall say. Very special few.
I thought you were going to say very cottage industry of you, George.
Cottage industry. Anyway, onto our subs list. These are all the guys that very kindly subscribe to us every month to keep the lights on, just about UCP Towers. And we'll start with our good friend from Sweden. That is Cenox. Thank you very much, Cenox.
You've got to do the next one. I can't read my own fan club out.
Okay, next up we have the one-man George fan club. It is Carlos. Thank you very much again, Carlos.
And you better do the next one because he's actually a George fan.
Is he?
Paid up full member firm returns, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I didn't realise he was a fan of yours. I'm not liking where this is going now. Anyway, yes, thank you very much, firm returns, as always.
Tressel's
very generous.
Very personal friend of mine from my time in New York when we recorded the show over there with Bobby when we moved over there. So it would be wrong for me to read that.
Okay, Tressel's New York. Thanks very much, and don't forget I'm part of the show as well. But anyway, Right, what do
Now,
we got
this
next?
next one, over the top. Everybody,
No one,
everybody sit down. Sir
no one can
National
hear that. You
Anthem.
shouted so loud, your microphone cut it out.
Everybody stand up, sir.
There we go. There we go.
Everybody sit
A little bit of Georgie volume control. There we go. No one likes a shouter.
down. Antibellico. Si bada bingsta.
Good boy.
Ciao.
Thank you. Thank you, Better Beatster. Next up, we have the wonderfully delectable Tingle Tuna.
Now, thank you, Tingle Tune. If I were to choose to be anything, anywhere, anytime or place,
Oh, no.
silly, I chose to be a hair follicle on Digital Monker's face. He's the deputy dog of the Discord. He rides in on a mule.
Yep.
It's a donkey and horse hybrid. They're hard-working, much like himself.
He's the CEO of competitions on the Discord.
No.
Of which I will say, the last challenge accepted was a joint win between Ginge and Fat Zangief. 87-0 they done in a standard match in the game.
Stripped to the waist, fight to the death kind of activity. It's what I like
Proper,
to
yeah.
see.
Yeah.
To be honest, I got off on it like an emperor watching two men tear each other's
I
throats down.
was leading for a while with 63 and thought, do you know what? I don't think many can get higher than that. And then bang, both got an 87. 87, that is like a goal every like 10, 15 seconds. That is amazing. Absolutely unbelievable. So well
How
done,
have they
guys.
got the stamina for it?
Great challenge as well by Digital Monkery. But yeah, that was good fun. You know, people getting the scores.
I believe that the football challenge was what Fat Zangief used as his toning material. Because although he calls himself Fat Zangief, he is actually looking like a ripped and toned individual these days.
Yes, very much, yes. He should be called Ripped Zangief.
From now on, I don't know how that's going to sound on the reader.
Yeah, I just sort of ran that one through my head a bit and just thought, yeah. Anyway,
no, we're committing to it. So it's Ripped Zangief going forward.
Right.
I don't want him sat in the corner feeling like he's overweight. It's not right.
Next up, we have, by the way, thank you, Digital Monkey, as well, for all what you do. Next up, we have the Gaming Graham, who I will just say, if you are listening, Mr. Graham, I've sent you a message for your address, please, for your subscription goodies, which are all packed and ready to go.
The thing with the Gaming Graham is such a high caliber individual, so sought after and liked. He has to sell himself by the gram.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, just if you are listening, just check your DMs and send me your address, then I can get all these sent out because all ready to roll, all packed, all done. So, but
awesome.
Anyway, thank you very much, my man.
Okay, in that it gives me the opportunity to thank the alopecia border.
Then we've got, Gernbrand. It's Boba Loba.
You know what? You know, he's had some what I would call bloody good successes in his life recently, and you know, every time I go on my phone, I seem to have to trawl through, and I love it. Don't get me wrong, trawl sounds bad, but I seem to be greeted by his outrageous life now, where he's almost like some sort of con celebrity.
Yeah.
I think we need to get him a really long, almost like an oblong car number plate Discord manager badge that he has to wear to these official events. But yeah,
maybe get him a special UCP baseball cap because he is a bit partial to a baseball cap. So if we get him a UCP one,
dare I say it, that if we're going to get him a baseball cap,
hang on, you want one?
No. In the face turn no one saw coming for Jaded George. I think we need to look into getting some hers and sirs baseball caps for Boba Loba. Jaded George is being kind for a change, but no, in all seriousness, it brings me great happiness, genuinely, to see Boba Loba doing well. So never
superb.
has his catchphrase "going brown" been more prescient. See what I did there, RGT?
Who we got next? Who we got
I took
next?
time to bring you under my wing, and you were like, "Oh, I feel safe. I feel comfortable. Let me look up here."
Just who's next?
I almost admire him. Slap.
Yeah, I feel dirty and ashamed. Who's next?
And the only reason why I did all that was to hurt you,
I know
RGT, not play
because
below.
you love seeing me in pain.
Nothing brings me to the climax of a show more than that. Up next is and that's the face you'll make. Up next is
God help me. Let's get this done. Jesus.
That even a red-headed stepfather would dream of. It's the immortal Ginge. Not only is a goal-scoring superstar hero, rumor has it he can lift a couple of stone up with his little toe.
Goal scoring superstar hero. What a tune. You're a goal scoring superstar hero. What game's that from? If anyone know, put it in Discord if you know what that's from.
RGT will send
Best
you
game
a
ever.
free game from his library.
Can you stop telling me to send stuff to people?
We've already decided that you don't need it anymore. You go digital. Get it gone.
Have we decided that?
Yeah, I decided for you.
Ah, okay.
Mrs. RGT gets somewhere to put a mower and somewhere to put a cup of tea down in the front room without fear of she's going to ruin a very rare copy of Dragon's Lair or something ridiculous.
You finished?
No man should have his lawnmower stored in his kitchen because he doesn't have room in his shed.
Depends what your priorities are. Right. Next up, we have the Lord of Darkness, which is the wonderful and sexy Harvey Retro. Thank you very much.
If you need art doing,
yes, there's demand to see.
This is how the UCP would do an advert. You want a drawing doing out, doodle, something like that. You want to refresh your whole business. I'm talking you're the vice president of B&M. You sat there thinking, I don't like the look of those letters anymore. I need something new. Harvey Retro will draw you something up in a heartbeat, and it would be amazing.
Yep.
In fact, so good that they're rumoured now to be looking at applying a decal of the UCP's new artwork over the Sistine Chapel.
I did hear that.
Yeah.
I did hear that.
Up next, fresh from the southern leg of her world tour of promotional events for the UCP, is Emma Sharp. Emma, are you there? Nice to have you live on the show, Emma. Where are you? Cape Town. Okay, fantastic. Looking great. Little bit of a delay, obviously, with the satellite. We're using the old technology. That's great, Emma. And just stand up for me and spread the t-shirt out. The logo's looking great. This should do us a world of good. So thank you for that. After Cape Town, Rio de Janeiro.
After having a chat with her the other day, I did have to try and explain to her why she's currently on a world tour that she's quite confused about because she's just working down the road.
She's a UCP promotional events man.
Yeah, she's a bit worried you had her confused with someone else, but I was like, no, it's just the mind of George. Go with it.
What do you mean mind?
The mind of George. Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Well, a very dark, twisted, weird, hypnotic, trippy place.
All of those items lined up together into one sentence. Just go through those words as the analysis for my destruction. Tell me why Emma Sharp, live from Cape Town, was any of those things. Why would that be a twisted hallucinogen?
Because you've fantasized that she's on a world tour. She's in Cape Town showing you her t-shirt.
Although fantasize would be a great word to use, vocabulary-wise, from the dictionary, it does cast what I would call sexual connotations to this, which I don't think are required.
Well, who's next?
My phone has gone black because I've talked for so long. Now here's a man who knows all about everywhere apart from somewhere, and that's Berlin, because he's nowhere near it. The immortal great. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you, great.
It does me great happiness to see Forever Skies up on the PlayStation storefront.
Definitely. All the work is
on the first page. It's
yeah.
Ooh, that's our boy.
Definitely, yeah. Well done, Greg. Great work there. Next up, we have... Oh, no saying you. Yes, Mum. Yes.
It's
know.
too late. You've had her. It's Mumsy. Up
Jesus,
next,
yeah, it's
I get-
Mumsy. See that now? George has done it now. God dear me. Yeah, sorry, George. Go, yeah, it's Mumsy, by the way.
Up
You
next, it's only right and proper that your
chest
ego
out,
hears this.
chest out.
I have one man. This guy has a fan club, which the name suggests more than one person.
Coach load, I think you'll find.
38-seater bus, 37 of which seats are empty. The other one is the driver. The RGT fan
Which
club.
is me.
I'm driving my own bus into town.
Yeah,
Going brand downtown. Who's next?
Wow, we have the hardest man on the internet, which is Pete Brocklehurst, the cinder block juggler himself. He don't throw at school sports day. He didn't throw javelin. He threw an RSJ, and he got the school record.
Now, I don't know what school day you're talking about because I thought you were going to tell me that he threw a wobbler. That was the day he didn't get a medal.
Threw a wobbler.
That's pretty heavy, RGT.
That is a
if I'm
classic.
honest
Yeah.
with you.
Proper wobbler.
Up next, some ride him like a bike, but he's a man with more respect for his morals than that, so he changed the name via default to Simon Pryke.
Yes, thank you. You've tried to skip one there, haven't you? I just noticed that. So I will do love him or hate him as Billy Marmite. Thank you, Billy, which leaves
Cheers,
you
Bill.
which leaves you with the new.
And how do you want me to give me the sort of?
Well, you got to go
give me
full
the-
bore, and you got to say ripped.
Give me a bit more setting. Where am I? It's my first. Is this my first?
Yeah, I think
Zangief?
your first Zangief
And
dungeon.
it's a ripped one.
Yeah, ripped Zangief dungeon chains candles. Where you go.
My
Seems
first ever one is in a dungeon with candles. Okay, so I'll be
chains.
honest with you, I'm a bit terrified. So it's probably
Yeah.
a bit like this.
Yeah.
Oh.
Your microphone's still trying to cut you out because it was so disturbed with what I heard.
I think, to be honest with you, I think if anyone had their first ripped Zangief in a dungeon with candles and chains,
First time for everything.
Yeah, I think I got quite close to what that would sound like, if I'm honest.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely.
The
without a doubt.
guilt tears at the end as well. I kind of took it a bit too method, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, I was bordering on feeling a bit wrong.
Only just.
Yeah, only just.
Okay, with all that said and done, everybody knows, and this is meant to be a quick show. Whew.
Yeah.
I ain't got enough time left in a day right now. We can't go home. They can't carry on with their working week. They can't get out the car right now and go in and tell their loved ones how much they care for them. They're being buoyed up and, re-franchised by the latest episode of the UCP. They know that they can't do that until I ask you what you're hoping to play for this gaming week.
Pretty much all of the above what I said. Hopefully, what I was playing, Xeno must get back into it. Escape from Mistwood. Hopefully that'll fix itself. Otherwise, I am trapped there. Bit more Evercade. But I've also got a simulator game coming this week. I think it's this week, so I should be getting into that.
Hold up. Now, what is this game?
Farming simulator. On the Mega Drive.
Not what I expected,
No.
but it's better than I expected because I
16-bit version I ordered from them. So I think that's coming. So yeah, I'm looking forward to trying that.
I can get on board with that. I cannot
Looks
get
good.
on board with the C64 version on Evercade. Absolutely not. It's disgusting. It's
Have you played
depraved.
it?
It's immoral.
Oh,
It
that's
looks.
awful. Someone's put a
It
lot of hard work into that.
it is. It's beautiful. But if you're going to get any version, surely going to get the 16-bit Desert Strike version. Why
Yeah,
would you
me
not?
and you would say that, but there's obviously a lot of fans of 8-bit stuff. They like it, so it appeals to both. It's quite popular. But anyway, I've ordered a 16-bit physical one, physical cartridge, so I've got that coming to try. Get the Retron set up, get it on a big TV, and get me a ploughing boy.
The only
Steady.
the only thing about it is the feels just it just doesn't look big enough.
No, it's obviously going to be limited for the hardware it's running on, but we'll see. We'll see. I'm looking forward to trying it.
No, I'm excited. I didn't know you'd bought that, and I didn't realise what I'm desperate for because I'm
I
not going
did
to go
send
set
you
the
a
Mega
link
Drive
to
up.
it, but
I know.
I think you ignored me.
I didn't ignore you. I just didn't want it on the Mega Drive. I wanted to play it on Switch.
Oh, can you get a port of it on the Switch, the 16-bit one? Can you?
Well, why can't you?
All right, there's no get angry. It's not my fault. I didn't make it.
Oh, I'm
Jesus.
furious.
Jeez. Hell.
I've got to go up in the loft. I've got to get all the wires out. Got to drag a CRT down. That's probably my death sealed, isn't it? In the local Farmerton newspaper, man dies after falling from ladder from loft with TV wrapped round his neck and a Mega Drive lodged in his lower colon.
Sort of slightly deformed Max headroom. Head
Clutching a
straight through.
freshly delivered time travel mystery. Clutching a freshly delivered copy of a game for Mega Drive.
Yeah, from 1989.
What's going on? Bergerac's going to be very confused when he comes to investigate that.
Well, it's either that or you just buy that Mega Drive that you were talking about. 45 quid. There you go. Bang it on your big TV. Oh. Oh, there's
How much is this farming
cogs
simulator
turning.
on Mega Drive? 50 quid?
40 quid.
So £95.
Mm-hmm.
All in.
To play the premium edition of Farming Simulator.
The scary thing is I've got money. God.
Oh, well, that's the Mega Drive and Farming Sim ordered. If they got any copies left, I don't know, because that was a time thing. So,
oh God!
So you might have missed out on that. But check the link. See
We've
if you
got
can
this
get it.
massive market of potential untapped Mega Drives out there. What we're going to do? Limited run.
No, I don't think it's a limited run. I think they just
make it really hard to get hold of.
Well, that's not hard to get hold of if you're just on the ball when I sent you the link. There you go. I mean, it's not beat around the bush.
I mean, you use the Mega Drive. What's the likelihood of you using the internet? It's slim to none, isn't it? So how do you know this exists?
Well, exactly.
You're sat just rereading your last copy of Mean Machines, hoping that game comes out.
Yeah, I ordered a postal order.
From Lee's Games or whatever it was called in the back.
I had to sellotape the coins in.
Oh my God. Sending 100 quid in pound coins.
50 pence.
Had his back put out. Is that all you're hoping to play, by the way?
Yes, pretty much. Yes, pretty much.
And I'm away promoting the show. So I've got my cloth sack and my couple of gallons of water. The only thing I can carry under my sweaty armpit at that point is a Switch with a copy of the Grand Prix Manager downloaded on it.
Oh, yeah, I forgot you were away promoting the show. We've got a good show next week as well. A different one as well next week. So have a listen in. That's going to be a good one next week. So not that these aren't good, but something different. So have a listen next week.
What are you saying?
Huh?
What are you saying?
Said it's going to be good next week.
And that's all we have time for. As always, thank you for your time. Look forward to the pleasure of speaking to you again next week. Until then, happy gaming. Remember, there's nothing wrong with being given the unofficial controller. It's what you do with it that counts. See you, RGT.
Later.